Hey, it's Justin Carlson, founder of Failing Justice. At Failing Justice, we stand as a steadfast platform for free speech, especially in a time where the erosion of this fundamental right looms large. In a landscape where national news is filled with propaganda and control, the same holds true at the local level. We believe in empowering individuals with the truth about their communities beyond the narratives spun by the public officials and their cozy alliances with the media. Our commitment lies in shedding light on crucial matters such as corruption, misconduct by law enforcement, and governmental overreach. Too often we find ourselves swayed by the court of public opinion, surrendering to dangerous narratives. Implicit biases further cloud our judgment, shaping our perception and interaction without our conscious awareness. At Failing Justice, we support diversity of thought and belief, recognizing that the differences don't equate to wrongness. We oppose the weaponization of the legal system and law enforcement to violate the rights guaranteed by the United States Constitution. So sit back, enjoy this episode, and make your own informed conclusions.
In a world where justice is supposed to be blind, there are those who believe the scales are tipped in favor of the powerful. The ones who are meant to protect us are often the ones who cause the most harm. The police force, sworn to serve and protect, have become a symbol of fear and mistrust for many. And the court system, designed to ensure justice for all, has failed time and time again. But there are those who refuse to be silenced, who fight for change, and who demand accountability. Join our host, former Texas police officer and major crimes detective, Justin Carlson, on a journey through the darkness, as he shines a light from his extensive 14 years of experience on police injustice and the failed court system, and as he speaks with the many others who have also experienced injustice. This is Failing Justice.
Good evening and welcome to the Failing Justice podcast. I am your host, as always, Justin Carlson. I have my co-host, Preston Green, with me, and we are pumped to be here tonight. We are downtown Dallas, Hello Studios on the 10th floor. Always excited to be here, always pumped up to do these shows, and we love our audience. We thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I tell you tonight, I am just extra pumped, actually. I love all the shows that we do, love all the guests that we have come in. But this one just, I think for me, it hits close to home. So, I mean, because
it is home.
It is home. So there is a little bit different feel here. I do understand that this is a very, for some, especially in East Texas, this is a very controversial topic. It's been in the news in East Texas, Tyler, Longview, for over a year now, and so I just think that some people are going to have different opinions about this. And at the end of the day, I'm just prefacing all this up front. And at the end of the day, I say this: it's a very simple term: right is right, and wrong is wrong. I'm going to get some T-shirts made with that. Just going to go ahead and dive in. I want to introduce my guests. We got quite a bit of us here. I will start right here next to me. We got Lance Phillips. Lance, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks, man. Good to be here.
And then across from Lance, sharing a camera, is we have Derek Phillips.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm actually more excited than you are. I was getting chills when that video was going, so I'm very stoked to be here. Thank you.
Man. And then we have, which Lance and Derek are brothers. And then we have Cody Voss, which might as well be one of your brothers because he's.
That's right.
So welcome to the show, Cody.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad that y'all are here. I just want to dive right in. I mean, this, and if I get anything wrong, guys, correct me, because there's so much of it. I don't want to misstate something. So, if I get something wrong, just fix it. But I want to take it all the way back to March of 23. Am I correct?
That's right.
March of 23. So I'll lay it out just from what I know. And again, you guys correct it if I'm wrong on anything. So March of 23 in Smith County, Texas, Cody Voss gets pulled over for a tail lamp violation. Is that right, Cody? And get pulled over for a tail lamp violation. And Smith County Sheriff's Office is the one who conducts the traffic stop. And so Cody gets pulled over. Derek, you weren't in the car, right? You were in the driveway already?
I was actually in my truck in front of Cody.
Okay, so you pulled in first.
Yeah, we actually worked all day together, and it was only a mile away from the house.
Okay, so you were already in the driveway. You just pulled in. Cody pulls in, and then here comes the sheriff's office. They conducted their traffic stop. And so what I have here is I have just a piece of the video because it's what I'm going to do just for everybody, so everybody knows. I'm going to link the video in the show notes. So if you guys watching this, you want to actually go watch the whole video, you can. It'll be in the show notes. But I just got a piece of it here to kind of give a set the tone for what we're going to initially start talking about. So let me play that.
Hello. Sir? Yeah. You got a driver's license? I'm Deputy Peters with the Smith County Sheriff's Office. Reason for the stop today, your tail lights were not working as you were driving on the road, okay? And then you immediately pull into a residence.
I literally have a claim that taillights are not a crime. I'm not involved in the traffic code. I have a notice here. I literally have a lawsuit going on with Nassau PD.
Okay.
And signed by the judge. This is his dad's house.
He's county. Also not driving. Driving's a commercial.
And I'm not driving. This is the county commissioner's house, county clerk. We just pulled in. Which tail light is out?
It was both of them.
Which one?
Both of your tail lights. None of them were working as you were driving on the roadway. Do you have a driver's license, sir?
I'm not driving. I'm outside of your jurisdiction, actually. Who do you work with?
The Smith County Sheriff's Office.
The Sheriff's County?
Yes, sir. Do you have any form of an ID or driver's license?
I do, but I don't have to present it since I haven't.
You do at this point in time because you have committed a traffic offense. You were driving a vehicle. I'm not here to argue with you. Do you have a driver's license?
I've got a dictionary because he doesn't seem to know the definition.
I'm not involved in the traffic code.
Okay, so that was the first piece. There was a lot going on. Obviously, we don't have time to play all this. So what I'm doing next is going to transition into the clear and utter violation of the Fourth Amendment. And so that's where, before I get started here, you're standing in your garage. Right here, correct?
Well, you did go forward some, but yeah, right there.
So
at that part of the video, I am inside my garage.
Okay, so I did go big. You were obviously you were outside next to the car for quite some time, but then you go inside, and this is when the second Smith County Sheriff's deputy arrives. Rugg?
Yeah, his name is Riley Rugg.
Riley Rugg. Okay, so he shows up. You're in the garage. You're letting them know exactly what you think about this traffic stop, and this is what happens.
Into this traffic stop.
Get off my property, you piece of shit!
Get over here now.
No, you get over here then. He wants to say get over here like I'm a dog.
I will get over here.
Yeah, exactly.
What is going on?
Yeah, exactly. Get away from me. 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 Stop. Stop. Help. 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 Give me your hands.
Give me your hands now.
Help. Help. It's my glasses.
I gotta say,
help.
give us a chance.
Help. I have it. Oh my God.
Stop.
Help.
Get back. Step back. Get back.
Help. Help. Help.
So just to be clear, you are not resisting at that moment. I mean, they clearly have a handle on you. There's, from what I can see, no resisting whatsoever. You have your glasses clenched in your hands. He takes those off and sits those on the floor, and that's a key part to some other discussion that we're going to have is those glasses. So I'll keep playing for just a minute.
Help, Mama, help! Take my phone.
What you do?
Take my phone, Mama.
We got 1 minute.
Arresting you for some stupid.
I've done nothing. He's hurting my wrist. He's breaking my wrist. Get off of me. I can't even breathe. Get back.
So there you There you have old Cody with his hands behind his back.
This
Because
is my favorite part of the video right there, man.
yeah, so
He's about lawyers, too.
he got detained in the driveway, and to come chase you in the house, they just leave him in the driveway like, oh, forget this guy. And then he comes in, he's just
Next thing you know, you just
Let him
see-
go.
yeah, that's great.
Let him go.
Where's my glasses? Give me my glasses.
Oh my
Give me
God.
my glasses. I can't stop breaking my arm.
I'm not breaking your arm.
Hey, go,
Get
get
back.
back.
Step back.
She is saying, and she will say, clearly he needs his glasses because your glasses fell off on the floor. You're about to go to jail. Clearly you need your glasses. So she's telling that deputy, hey, he needs his glasses. In all of about 3 seconds, you can see her right here because this is a key point for what we're going to talk about in a minute. Okay.
Give me my glasses. I cannot see.
Yo,
You gotta stop.
His glasses are right there.
Those are his glasses, okay? You step out with me.
Hey, you know what y'all doing is wrong.
What the hell is going on?
Help! Help! Oh my
Please
God.
let us go.
Help! Help! Hey,
Also, right there, they were forcing my arms up above my head with my hands cuffed behind my back, so it was tearing some ligaments right here in my shoulders. It was in pain. It was causing me pain. He forced me to the ground, and then he wrote down, "Oh, he fell on the ground and tried not to, he wanted to resist."
Well, it looked like you were doing this. Like you kind of had your hands up when you were going down because you didn't know what was coming.
I'm talking about right there whenever you saw
when
it
he's taking
force
you
me
out.
to the ground.
Yeah.
Right outside the
Kimura.
driveway.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
move. That's a move in wrestling, right?
Yeah, Kimura, but he doesn't know that. I imagine they just taught him the 1 hour worth of police academy. Hey, do this. This is pain tolerant, pain compliance.
Right.
So I want to take a quick time out too and talk about Derek, your history and what you used to do in employment. You used to be a cop.
Yeah, actually, I used to work for Smith County. Smith County.
So
I was a deputy on patrol,
up.
K9.
What?
He was a cop.
You didn't know that?
I thought I told you this.
Yeah.
No.
He was a cop.
Yeah, not just it. I worked for Smith County on patrol. I was a K9 handler. I went through SWAT school with the sergeant, Aaron Blair.
I went to the academy with Aaron Blair. And
Get out of here. How could you not tell me this?
I swear, I
This
told
is
you.
Critical information.
Yeah.
I told you. You probably just don't remember.
Nah, you didn't tell me. You don't tell me anything.
That's right.
So you were a cop. Went to SWAT school with Aaron Blair. He'll come into play here in a minute. And then, so tell me, let's kind of break this down because, and there's so much more to this. I'm telling you, we're only playing a fraction, obviously. But tell me, I mean, just kind of how you guys felt. Cody, how you felt when you got pulled over. Derek, you were obviously pretty heated, pissed off. So it's kind of explain like what your emotions, what you were thinking at the time.
I went through the same police academy that Jonathan Peters went through. That's the officer's name who pulled Cody over. And what I saw was not what I was taught. And I knew that he was doing wrong. So whenever I saw an officer doing wrong, I immediately said, hey, I need to see a supervisor. Your supervisor needs to get here right now. And matter of fact, we asked for a supervisor 4 times. And by the 4th time, that's whenever he went hands-on on Cody. And that's when I was like, whoa, why are you going hands-on? There's no reason for that. No crime has been committed. I'm not even sure why you're assaulting my friend here, which was the very first thing I said. I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm just here to make sure you don't kill anybody. I don't want you to become trigger happy and shoot my best friend here. So yeah, I'm going to let Cody say his piece on that one.
Well, originally to answer your question, how I felt was I felt very harassed. I had a similar instance in Nassau Bay, so I started to believe that perhaps they were trying to target me or make some sort of example out of me, use me as an in to get to the Phillips particular. Maybe the fact that I got pulled over on the Phillips, maybe that was the opportunity they needed to escalate things.
So when we talk about the Phillips, right? So the Phillips name means something in Smith County because your dad, the Terry Phillips, is the Smith County Precinct 3 County Commissioner, correct?
Yeah, my dad is the county commissioner and my mom is the county clerk, and both of them have held that position for over a decade. My father just got his 15-year service award last week, and my mom's been doing it now for about 13 years. The election is going on right now, and the Smith County Sheriff, Larry Smith, just wants to make sure he stacks the commissioner court with everybody who's going to say yes. So we see this very much so as a political hit job. The sheriff trying to do what he needs to do to force my father out of town, off the commissioner's board, put somebody else there that's going to vote yes whenever he wants to raise the budget. Because our last sheriff that was there, the budget was around $20 million a year, and now it's somewhere around $50 million. I don't know the exact number. It might be like 45 or somewhere around $50 million a year. So anybody who's questioning his way of spending money, he wants to get rid of them. He wants an all yes court.
So
sure.
so your dad, Terry, he challenges Larry
Absolutely.
Smith and probably wants answers, accountability, transparency in the budget. And you don't think Larry likes that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there. So to make it clear, the Phillips family, because you mentioned, Cody, you mentioned that name. Your dad's a county commissioner, and your mom is a county clerk. Now, is your mom elected? That's an elected position as well,
Yes.
too, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. So going back to, I'll let you finish. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, anybody else that same incident would have happened to, it probably wouldn't have went like that. And I think anyone watching that video is very clear that you can see that the Phillips name definitely had to play to the level of just attention that this got. You know, even when it comes down to them releasing common law privacy right protected information and the footage to CBS that wasn't even requested. You know. And the fact that every single court case that we continue to have the CBS and KLTV show up and continue to perpetuate lies, edit videos that are not true, and try to perceive things in a way that is buddy-buddy with the Smith County Sheriff.
So this is one of those instances where we may disagree. So do you guys think that the traffic stop was legal? Do you get the act, not what happened after, but the actual stop? Do you guys think that?
Well, I think that his taillight was off. The taillight was, whatever
Defective.
Defective. If it wasn't working, then he could stop and say, "Hey, your taillight's out. Have a nice day." What you might be talking about, disagreeing or agreeing, is the word traffic. Whenever you talk about traffic, you're trafficking drugs because you have something. You're trafficking something like goods or services. Cody wasn't trafficking anything. There was nothing to traffic. So he was going from point A to point B. That's traveling. All he was doing was going home. Nobody paid him to do that. Nobody paid him to get home. So if he's going from point A to point B, he's just going home. That's traveling. That's not trafficking.
So I've seen a lot of comments on some of the videos because you guys put a lot of police it's Texas police audits is your TikTok. And I'll also link that in our show notes. But I've seen a lot of comments on there and on YouTube of different people mentioning sovereign citizen. Are you guys?
No.
Are you that?
I've never claimed sovereign citizen. Cody here has never claimed sovereign citizen. Lance has never claimed sovereign citizen. Matter of fact, the only person who said sovereign citizen is Larry Smith. He's the only one, and he said it on the news. That was not us.
Blatant lie.
And so in the video too, you hear, and we'll play it in just a minute.
Jonathan Peters,
because I want to make it here in a minute when the supervisor. We were talking about Aaron Blair. The supervisor deputy shows up, the sergeant Aaron Blair, and they tell him kind of what occurred, which they didn't tell him the full story. But I'll just play it real quick.
Pull over that Crown Vic. He's driving on 14 with no tail light. He pulled in here on 37. He drove all the way into the residence. He was actually right behind that Chevrolet pickup. And they both got out, started sovereign citizen crap.
Preston's got a question.
Just got a comment. So when we see, this is interesting that, you get that perspective. Because the comment he made is an opinion, right?
You're talking about when he says started the sovereign crap.
Right.
You heard him say that.
Right. That's Jonathan's opinion.
Yeah.
It's an opinion. And, when I go back and I watch this video and hear that comment, to me it explains a lot about the initial contact, right? He has that opinion. He has that mindset that whatever sovereign citizen means to him, it's not okay. Like, it's confrontational, right? And I think that's a bias. I think that cops get, right, wrong, or indifferent. We let our opinion get in the way of us doing our job and treating everybody honestly and fairly, impartial, right? And we get that opinion, and sometimes we subconsciously start making decisions or doing things that we wouldn't necessarily do if we didn't have that opinion already. And that's a big battle in law enforcement. I mean, because we're all human, right? I'm going to have my personal beliefs, but it's super important to keep that in check when we make contact, right?
I think it goes further than that. And didn't you say as an officer they teach you in the academy that word is they're ready to kill you?
Right,
basically.
right. I was actually just about to say that. I'm not sure which academy y'all went to, but I went to the East Texas Police Academy in Kilgore. Yeah, is that where y'all went?
No, I went to Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Okay.
I went to Tyler.
So
I went.
over there, they all show the same. They probably still show the same video to this day. I went 10 years ago.
West
but-
Memphis, Arkansas.
Well, the guy jumps out with his gun and he just
Yeah.
starts laying. Yeah. So, he got pulled over for his seatbelt being out or being off, and then he just gets out of the car and starts shooting at the cop with an AK-47. That's how every cop that has gone
So-
through East Texas Police Academy is trained to see. So that's what they see.
I know exactly what video you're talking about, and because they do train on that. And while that was clearly tragic, and I get where that chief, because that was his son, right? The chief of police at West Memphis, Arkansas, his son was the one on that traffic stop, and then they ended up going to Walmart and had a big shootout, right? Like, I mean, it was just guns ablazing. So I know exactly which video you're talking about, and so that's when people hear traveling versus traffic, they automatically think sovereign citizen. And so that's why I ask, because the deputy not only he says I pull him over, he starts that sovereign crap, and then Larry Smith later on says sovereign citizen, and I've seen some other comments somewhere about it. So I wanted to clarify and ask, like, are you guys sovereign citizen, for our audience to be able to, because you hear that all the time. Well, these people are just crazy because they're sovereign citizens. They don't believe they have to follow any kind of laws, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's not where your mindset is. Just I want to make
That's
that
an
clear.
oxymoron too. You can't be a sovereign and a citizen.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say we're not a sovereign citizen, like Lance said. Sovereign means you're standing alone. You're not under anybody. Citizens means that you're underneath somebody. You're under the government's thumb. Doing what they. So it's an oxymoron, anyways. And Jonathan Peters obviously didn't know that. He doesn't know definitions of words. He went through the same police academy I did, except for the difference is he went for that 6 months period, and they only taught him what they wanted him to know. 1 week of each topic. You get a week of penal code, a week of criminal, a week of learning how to drive, a week of use of force. You get a week to learn that. They call him a compartmentalized idiot. They only teach you what they want you to know, and they don't teach you what they don't want you to know. So what happened was I went through that academy, and then now whenever I stopped being a cop, I never stopped learning. I kept going out and learning and doing criminal justice classes. They go to.
There you go.
They go and they do these continued education where they only have to have so many hours every year. Well,
It's just what's mandated.
What's
by the
mandated.
state.
And even whenever I went through those, most of the time we were checking in and then sneaking out in the back or just falling asleep in class. So I can't even honestly say that I was paying attention whenever I went through those classes for continued education.
I say that all the time.
Now that I'm not a cop anymore, I've actually paid more attention. I have more time to where I'm staying at home and focusing all the time. Like I don't have a job, a job where I'm having to exchange time for money. I have more time freedom to where I can stay at home and learn these things that Jonathan Peters and Riley Rugg do not know. Clearly.
I like that because we've had plenty of episodes where I've told Preston and we've talked about it. Typically when the state mandates something, like
It's because we messed up.
it's because number one, we messed up. So we're getting reactive. And then once we're reactive, most cops don't give a crap about that class they're sitting in. They're like, damn it, this is my day off. I'm tired. I worked, I got off at 3 a.m. so I could be here at 8 a.m. and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to fall asleep. And so you're right. I mean, they don't, some of these mandated classes I have a problem with. We if we're going to start mandating things, we need to mandate things that are important. The things that you're staying home and have been staying home and learning, the things that, again, because they teach you what they want you to know, and they don't teach you what they don't want you to know. So
right, the lawyers have to be able to win and defend their acts in court. So I grew up with a girl in church. Her name was Lee Correa, and Lee Correa is the one who Smith County is hiring to defend their actions. Well, when I start looking at her Facebook page, I'm like, Lee Correa is the one who wrote these rules, and then she goes and teaches the class. So she rents out a hotel here in Dallas Fort Worth and invites all the sheriff's deputies in the whole state of Texas. Anybody who wants to have continued education, come learn it from Lee Correa. And then now that she's taught them how to say the exact word, like I said earlier, you make sure that you write the word vehicle. They're teaching you how to write the report so they know that they can win in court. All I did was buy their law book and then learn how to use their information against them, and now I'm going to be able to win myself.
So the sovereign crap is crap because you guys aren't sovereign citizens.
Exactly.
Okay.
God, you got Derek Phillips. Was he the driver or the passenger?
Well, he was the one in the truck that interfered. They weren't in the same vehicle.
Okay. Why were they coming to this house?
They both said they live here, but I don't know. That female, she came out of the house, and I don't know if it's mom or what, but she kind of made it seem like they both live here.
Okay. What kind of resisting?
We got him in there. He was just kind of wrestling to go in the cuffs, but I mean, it wasn't too bad.
So what kind of force job you?
Nothing. I mean, he fell onto the ground. We just kind of yanked his arms just to get him in the cuffs.
So yeah, what kind of force? What kind of resisting? How much resisting? He said not really anything. And then what level of force did you use? And he said nothing. And so there's so much to unpack here, man. So you were charged with resisting arrest?
Resisting arrest, evading, and interfering with public duties.
Okay.
And by the way, that we didn't get to show this, but Riley Rugg was the officer that ran into the house without the warrant. And the first thing he did when each and every officer showed up as backup or whatever, when they showed up, he ran to each one of them and told his side of the story before they would even ask. He would, Derek ran over here and was cussing at me, which wasn't true. I mean, I didn't say the words that he said I said. I might have said something, but I didn't say what he said I said. And he got into the point where he said, well, he told me he wanted me to come talk to him. I guess he didn't want to talk to me. I was like shocked that he even said that to himself. He doesn't even realize what he's saying.
Yeah, he's like, because he's like, oh yeah, I'll come here. And so I mean, let's break this down, right? I have a big problem with this, and I'm sure Preston does too. So even if he wanted to articulate that you were interfering, even if, let's just, hypothetical here, it's a misdemeanor, and you cannot chase someone in their own house unless you're in active pursuit of a felon, okay? Or there's exigent circumstances that exist where somebody is in grave danger. Somebody's going to lose their life or get hurt. And so neither one of those things were present as you were going in the house. I mean, you were already in your garage, okay? So when he comes up there, you just turn around and you're going to go back in your house. But he gives chase in there. And then you get tackled to the ground and you get put in cuffs and you get treated like a rag doll.
I don't even think that I turned around. I believe when I was watching the video, I was just backing up, holding my camera and my phone in front of me. Is backing up, stepping backwards, saying, get away from me. Because he was charging at me like a rhinoceros. I mean, this guy was running at me. And of course, if somebody wants to talk to me, I'll talk to anybody. They can come and talk to me. I'm not a dog. I'm not going to be like, you're not going to say, come here and come talk to me. No, dude, you come talk to me if you want to talk to me. If I want to talk to you, I'll go talk to you. So, of course, he can come talk to me. But as soon as I saw that it wasn't talking anymore and the rage that it was in his eyes, then I'm like, no, you need to back up. Well, I heard somebody say, you've already invited him into your home because you said he could come. Well, that's not true. It's kind of like whenever a girl is saying rape. Well, she can give and say, yeah, I want to be with you. I love you. And then they start doing something in the bedroom. And then all of a sudden they're saying, no, I don't want to do it anymore. Well, you've already said yes and you let me in. Is that what No, of course not. You can't say that. You have to stop. So this is where Riley Rugg was like, no, he wanted me to talk to him and I'm going to go talk to him. That's what he was,
Yeah. So is that what they're trying to Is that their defense
I
on that? Or
you know what's funny is they went the prosecuting attorney. Her name is Dana Falwell and Jeff Harrington. They told us today they haven't even watched the video yet. So they haven't even watched the video yet, and they're still trying to pursue charges, still trying to lock me up, throw me in jail. They haven't even watched the video yet.
So yeah, man, there's so much that was a complete violation of your Fourth Amendment right.
Absolutely.
Because they cannot do what you just seen on that video. I don't care how you try to articulate that. I've said this 1,000 times. Like, cops, they can write anything and make anything.
Yep.
And I don't know if him using the word carport in the
well, that's a falsified government document.
Yeah, I don't know if that was his plan when he used carport because he thought maybe it was better. I mean, it was a very much attached garage, and it was for maybe a misdemeanor because we're stretching here. And so that blows my mind.
I think you'd be giving them too much credit. I don't think he put that much thought into it. I think it was
he was pissed.
I think we took these actions, and then you gotta articulate why you did it, right? Like we don't stop long enough to think about what we're doing in the moment, especially if we get heated or there's confrontation. Because I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, y'all were pretty confrontational in the beginning, right? But that's an opinion. I'm not supposed to let that interfere with how I conduct myself or do my job or what decisions I make, right? I try to put myself in this officer's position and think, well, what would I do on this stop? Even if somebody was confrontational or trying to claim that the stop's not good or well, you've got the definitions of the words wrong. Well, me personally, right? I'm like, okay, well, this is clearly very important to you, and I was just making a stop. So,
yeah. Are you allowed to write down your opinions though whenever you write an affidavit, an arrest affidavit?
No, and that's what I'm saying is like it's the way the officer's perceiving it is I think driving those decisions to make it, and then afterwards we articulate.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about articulation. At the end of the day, articulation is kind of your perception and your opinion of why you did what you did, right? And then it goes through the process, and then you prove whether it's valid or not in court. I don't agree with a lot of things with this encounter. One, I can't stand like a cop demanding respect and authority immediately right out the gate. I'll be honest, you can walk up to me if I'm on duty, you can walk up to me and you can probably cuss me like I'm a dog. And it's going to take quite a bit for me to get even worked up, but I'm not going to demand you respect me because I'm wearing a uniform and a badge, right? Because at the end of the day, I take this uniform and badge off. You and I are just the same. It's just a job, right? Or a passion for some people. It just blows my mind.
Well, that's it. So the ego gets involved, right? Like, Derek was in there offending him. That cop was offended that he was saying what he was saying, and so he's like, okay, well, you know what? He lost all emotional intelligence and control in that moment, and I think I agree with what you said. Like, I don't think there was a lot of thought in it. I mean, I think he was just pissed. All he saw was red, like a bull, with a red sheet, and he bolted in there.
So I think, remember watching the video, the officer that actually made the stop, made the initial contact, right? He's not the same officer. It's a different officer that chases you in.
That's true,
right?
But Jonathan did come in there. Jonathan did not have a warrant, and Jonathan still entered my house without a warrant. Whether he was coming to back up his partner or not, he did not have a warrant to go in.
Correct. Where I was going
and left Cody cuffed in the driveway.
Dude,
right.
that's freaking comical.
Left me there while he had my ID, and Derek was 20, 30 feet away. We're done here, right? Like, what are you holding me for? They couldn't leave without something.
Yeah. Where I was going with that is not dismissing the initial officers, any actions he took, but you have his partner, his backup that gets on scene, and it's immediate. Like we're at 100. Like,
20 seconds.
We're at 100 immediately.
Yep.
Like I got called. We have an altercation going on here. Respect my authority.
Yeah.
Right? And I see it though. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
Right? Like no, let me respect you. Service is in service to somebody other than yourself. And I think we've lost that purpose in law enforcement, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with some of the things you said. When talking about the academy, we talk about it all the time. It's like a lot of our bad habits are things that we're taught generations, right?
Yep.
And we always ask ourselves, like, what's it going to take to change this? To change this profession for the better? And I'm like, well, a lot of it's going to be time and generations of change, of positive change. So
and yeah, that's my deal, because I was texting somebody last week, and he's a good buddy of mine, and we had a good debate over text message, and I respect the hell out of him. But one of the things that he said, well, it's just become a pissing match because those guys keep being asswipes. And here's my response to that, okay? So listen, you can be an asswipe all you want, okay? But does being an asswipe mean you get your constitutional rights violated? No, it doesn't. Like you just said, I can go out here, go downstairs, walk up to the Dallas PD, and just give them the bird. Now, I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying, if I did, that would, depending on who the officer is, he would probably get pissed off. He would find something. I was walking on the sidewalk wrong, and in policing, we call it POP, piss off the police. And so, really and truly, let's be clear here. That is what occurred at your house that night.
That's
the
right.
police were pissed off.
Yeah.
And that is, and so.
But and oftentimes when you hear about that, we're referring to like traffic citations, right? Like you hear, and I don't. It's not okay. I don't tolerate it. But you were a cop, so like that lingo goes around.
I've used that term a lot, and then I've
Yeah.
actually explained it to my family a lot. POP is a real charge.
Yeah, you're about to get a POP.
That's a real
People are
charge.
like, what is that? You pissed me off. I'm gonna find something to write you a ticket for, right? And I'm gonna make you add a little money.
And what's concerning about that is, cops joke about that. They go in the squad rooms and they're like, yeah, they were talking, and I did. It's like, it's funny and acceptable that you found something. You had to find something and create and articulate and come up with just because you were pissed off. It was POP.
I caught Constable Josh Joplin on the phone. Now, this is something that I have not told them. You haven't heard this. My father.
Oh, Josh Joplin.
Yeah. So Josh Joplin and my father, they used to talk every day on the phone before I started making a little bit of a ruckus, I guess. But what happened was my dad would sit in his recliner in the living room and he'd have his cell phone on his chest with it on speakerphone because he didn't want to have it up to his ear. Well, my ears just happened to work, and I was sitting at the computer at the table, and I was doing my own business, and I heard Josh Joplin say, well, I was going out there to serve a civil paper, and while I was serving civil paper,
I was going out there to serve that civil paper.
That's exactly how it sounds.
I was going out there to serve that civil paper, and he pissed me off.
That's what happened. And so this guy said, he started to run his mouth. He started running his mouth, and I asked him, "Oh, you want to fight? How big a boy are you? You want to fight?" And I said, and Dad started laughing, and I jumped up and I said, "Y'all think this is funny?" Both of y'all think this is funny? What's wrong with you? You are literally challenging a man to a fight, a civilian who can't fight back. You are a cop with a gun and a badge on your hip, and you're challenging this guy that as soon as he tries to pick a fight with you, now you're going to arrest him and throw him in jail for assault on a peace
and it's
officer.
going to be his fault.
And exactly. And I said, I cannot believe that you just laughed at Josh Joplin telling this joke that ain't even funny. So sure enough, I saw Josh that evening at the rodeo, and I'm like, there is that trash right there. And he didn't like the fact that I called him trash, but he didn't know that I overheard him talking about how he's going to beat up and fight a civilian that wasn't even, I mean, you're there to serve a paper. Serve your paper and go.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Cops take this stuff too personal. And there's so many things. We've had a couple podcast episodes where we've broke down traffic stops and things. There's so many things that could be avoided if you would just take the personal feelings out of it.
Well, ego.
Now I get it. There's humans behind the uniform, and I understand that. But where do problems come?
Well,
Why do we have this problem? Why are we even here having this podcast? It all started with a traffic stop because somebody got pissed off, right or wrong.
And there was that other officer that was on location that night, and Riley was going, "Oh, I got a little scratch right here." He goes, "It looks like assault on a peace officer to me." Well, that's a felony. You know, you go from a brake light to a felony. Come on.
Yeah, and like maybe a couple of weeks right before this, there was a detective, Sergeant Jason Railsback, who started causing. I mean, I don't know. He was picking a fight with me or something. I don't know. I went to deliver some flowers to my mother down at the annex building because she works there, and my dad just said, "Derek, park in my parking spot. County commissioner has his own parking spot. Park right there. Run inside, give the flowers, and you can go on about your business." Well, that's what I did. I parked in his parking spot, went inside, delivered the flowers to my mom. I came back out, and as I'm getting in my car, Sergeant Jason Railsback is like 50 feet away and just mean mugging me. He's giving me the worst eye, just saying he wants to beat me up with his eyes, right? And I looked over at him and I said, "You have a problem with me?" And he goes, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "Well, 1 second real quick." And I reached inside my truck and I pulled out my camera, my GoPro, and I started recording, or my cell phone. And I was like, "What's your problem?" And he goes, "Well, you came within 3 feet of hitting a pedestrian." Well, the pedestrian was him. He's walking through the parking lot, and I was pulling in to park in a parking spot. And he goes, "You got within 3 feet of me." Coming within 3 feet of this man is what caused him to come over here and try to get my ID. I don't know. So I said, "Okay, well, you're free to go." He goes, I'm free to go? And I was like, "Yeah, you're free to go, dude." And then we just stood there. And he stood there and he stared at me. And so I stood there and stared at him. And then I guess maybe 5 minutes goes by, and then he goes, "All right, well, you're free to go." And I said, "Thank you, you are too." And we both walked our separate ways. But that was just something where he had his ego got caught up on him, and now he went and stole Lance's phone. Not once, but twice, I think, or 3 times. So, Jason Railsback has it out for us. Well, he's the sergeant. He's the supervisor of Philip Grenade. You went to Sergeant Railsback and said, "Philip Grenade has falsified a government document." What happened to be a brake light and a misdemeanor has now turned into these officers committing felonies.
So let's not get too far ahead.
All right.
I want to go back. Did you have something you want to say?
Go for it.
No.
There's a lot of us in here, guys. So I apologize. There's just so much here, man.
There is.
That
I'd be happy to come back again.
Yeah, we may have to have another episode, for being honest. But listen, so the next thing. We go back to the traffic stop where your mom put her hand in between you and the deputy, reaching for because she wanted to get your glasses. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was there for what, 2 or 3 seconds. She wasn't trying to split you and the deputy up. At least this is my take as a peace officer who's been in these situations, who's watched the body cam. She was not trying to interfere. She was trying to get your glasses. But towards the end of the traffic stop, the deputy walks up to your mom and says, "Hey, can I get your information as a witness?" He uses those words verbatim, as a witness.
That's right.
So your mom gets the information, and he writes it down, and they move on. So listen, what is it, 8 days later? Mm-hmm. 8 days later, this happens. I want to play this.
Phillips could be seen interrupting the traffic stop, attempted to grab the deputy as the deputy was running into after the Phillips son. And then tried to get between them as it was getting the Phillips son out of the house and into the marked unit.
for his glasses, okay? Ma'am, can I get your name as a witness?
Yes.
Aaron Phillips.
If they break the law in Smith County, as long as I'm the sheriff, they're going to be treated all the same.
Here at 10 with new details on the arrest of the Smith County Clerk. Karen Phillips was arrested yesterday on a charge of interfering with public duties, an arrest that stems from her allegedly interfering with the arrest of her adult son last week.
Tonight we know Smith County Clerk Karen Phillips was told about the warrant for her arrest by Sheriff Larry Smith, who requested she turn herself in at the Smith County Jail, which she did Tuesday afternoon.
As a witness.
Okay.
Wow, I've never seen that.
Y'all have never
But
seen that?
you know what's funny is that he says that she was trying to prevent officers. He was trying to prevent officers from arresting her son, but that never happened. And if that happened, then why didn't they arrest her right then and there?
So that's the very point I want to make. They go up to her if they thought she needed to be arrested for interference on scene, like they thought you needed to be arrested.
Right.
They wanted you to be arrested so badly they violated your rights and ran after you in the house. So if those deputies on scene, both of them, and then the sergeant who showed up after and whoever else showed up, if they thought that your mom needed to be arrested for interference with public duties, why didn't they do it that night? We have to answer the question or talk about why 8 days later we are embarrassing your mother, who is a public official, for interference when as you watch this video, I'm telling you, I told you guys earlier, I played it back 15, 20 different times. I saw zero interference from your mom was after those glasses because she didn't want you to leave with them glasses. And she's yelling expletives, and I'm like, well, hell, if you came up in my house, I probably would be too, if we're being honest.
I did not see any interference.
Oh, no.
But
None.
even if your mom was jumping on me because I was arresting her son in the middle of the night in her house, I'm not arresting that woman for interfering because she is being a mother.
Right.
Where's the human compassion?
65 years old, 8 days later.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
The interference is a joke, but let's just think about it. It's very simple. Why would I arrest a mother for being a mother if she did no harm? Right? I could, it's one thing if somebody's attacking, right, or pulling weapons out on somebody, interfering on an arrest,
right.
But I'm just saying, I saw no interference. But
there wasn't any.
But even if there was that situation, why would I arrest a mom for being a mom?
I appreciate you saying that. That's something that they should have said.
Yeah. Well,
but
a lot of things.
But that's the thing. Again, if your mom would have came out with an AK, that'd be a different story. But what interference do you see?
None.
What time was this? What time was this?
11 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock.
She was probably asleep, I assume, or getting close.
And she's like, "What the hell is going on?"
I love your mom. You're arresting them for that stupid shit. I thought that was hilarious. I love that.
And yeah, it shows obvious retaliation from the sheriff, not just the fact that he pursued that, the fact that he had KLTV waiting for her outside of her office whenever he called to let her know that she had a warrant for her arrest.
So that is a good point, Cody.
Yeah.
I want to know. Let's break that down. So 8 days later, how does that work out? And just for our audience, we wanted Karen and Terry to come on the show, but their lawyers advised them not to, and we respect that. We may be able to get them on at a later time, but at least for now,
their lawyers are different than our lawyers.
Yeah, I like the lawyer the story you told me about your lawyer earlier. He sounds she right? He sounds like a go-getter. But anyway. 8 days later, does your mom get a phone call? How does that play out?
So I think what happened, what really caused it was the fact that we knew that Smith County messed up. And
yeah.
They messed up so bad that we embarrassed them. And by embarrassing them, we put it on a TikTok page called Thin Blue Line Accountability. Thin Blue Line Accountability was a TikTok page that reached millions, and then they had it taken down. But Luckily, we got all this footage back today. Right. So either way, they got embarrassed on TikTok, and within 4 days, and the guy, Philip Grenade, even wrote it. He goes, I saw a video on TikTok, and after I saw this video, I went ahead and viewed the video and saw Karen Phillips standing in her carport, and boom. Now, that's when he wrote this affidavit.
Hold up. Grenade, he's a detective.
Yeah, underneath Sergeant Roseback.
He saw this video that you guys posted on TikTok.
Yep.
And then he mentions that in the affidavit for your mom?
Correct. In the arrest warrant that had Judge Kerry Russell sign.
What happened to that TikTok account?
They deleted it, taken it down. If you go to that page now, it says that it's been blocked or whatever.
That's ridiculous. Like, what in the hell?
That was his second channel.
That was the second.
That was Thin Blue on accountability too.
So was it? So that was in the affidavit. But do you believe that, or do you think there was more to?
Do I believe their affidavit? No.
So,
we've been able to break it down and show that they've been lying in almost every sentence. And I can say almost every sentence because even on Jonathan Peters' very first time, his arrest affidavit for me, when he pulled over, he goes, yeah, I pulled the cars over and they immediately exited the car or the vehicles and started yelling at me, screaming. That didn't happen. Y'all already clearly saw that. We didn't.
That didn't happen immediately.
Yeah, every sentence that they wrote was a lie.
And there's a lot of people that are going to watch this and say, "Oh, well, Carlson again. He's just a. I can't believe he's there. This is embarrassing that he's sitting there having these conversations and agreeing with these guys." But the fact remains, right is right and wrong is wrong, and you cannot weaponize your law enforcement agency just because you're pissed off at somebody and they made an ass out of you, and you then want to turn around and say, "Let me." Retaliate. And that's all this is pure retaliation, and I don't care who hears it or what they think. That's fact.
It is a fact.
Because we're talking 4 days later. If they thought your mom, if those deputies, I keep going back to this, if those deputies thought your mom needed to be arrested on that night, they would have done it. Mm-hmm. So
it wasn't them.
Why? That's exactly.
Right. It wasn't them.
That's the point you make. I mean, I feel like they, hey, we see this on TikTok. Well, let me go run this up the chain and see what they think about this. And then you have somebody high up, I don't know. I would assume maybe Larry Smith say,
yep.
Oh, yep, get her.
We actually had we had insider people tell us that Larry Smith was advised by his advisors to not go after Karen Phillips, and he said, "Nope, I'm doing it anyways."
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd probably advise that same thing.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Even if your mama
whoever
broke
his
the
advisors
law.
are, they need to get paid.
Even if
we are,
we
have
are
lawsuits. We're gonna get paid.
Even if she did break the law, I'd probably advise the sheriff that's probably not the best idea to go against another political opponent
during an election
in the same county.
Right.
The fact that they took her phone too. That's ridiculous.
So they took her phone. They took it when they arrested her.
What?
Yes. We are victims of what's called gang stalking. I mean, the Smith County Sheriff's Office. We haven't even gotten into my brother here, Lance Phillips.
No, I mean we're trying to get there.
I know.
This is just the tip of the freaking iceberg,
it is.
y'all.
Let's break it all open. So, but in order.
In order, and it's hard because there's so much. Yeah. But I want to make it clear. I think that is absolutely ridiculous, and I think everybody sitting in this room is ridiculous. And if you're listening to this podcast and you don't think that is ridiculous, then you need to be evaluated because that is completely wrong. And guess what? That is why you can't trust law enforcement. That's why law enforcement gets a bad rap. And I'm sorry, but these conversations need to happen, and they need to be happening from within, from people who are law enforcement. I am active law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Preston is active law enforcement, and we have no qualms in saying that is not okay.
And I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And your poor mom, man. I mean, holy
you say
smokes.
poor mom, anybody who's come up to us and said, oh, because we've been out eating as a family, and they will come up, strangers will come up to us and say, oh, Miss Karen, you poor thing, I just want to hug you. And as soon as they do that, I turn my body and say, where's my hug? Yeah. I want a hug too. Yeah. Like, feel bad for me as well, because I mean they ran in and got me. I was kidnapped. I was assaulted. This was aggravated assault, and kidnapping. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do anything wrong, and so that's what I always try. If somebody feels bad for mom, feel bad for me too.
I feel bad for you too, brother. Yeah. I'll give you a hug afterwards. No. But no, so we could talk about this probably so much more, but I do want to move forward.
Yeah. And
let's get into Lance's ordeal. Now, Lance, you're going to have to help me because I've had such a hard time of trying to keep up with everything that happened to you, and I want to get it right in order. So your first Commissioner's Court appearance was when after all of this?
Well, I had been appearing in Commissioner's Court for many years now, not regularly, but no, probably 21, 22, a few times. And after this event on March 28th, my mom was like, and she knew that I was chomping at the bit to go speak my 3 minutes, right?
This was after his arrest and her
after
arrest.
her arrest, too.
Okay.
And she says, please don't go speak on at the record. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Just be quiet for 3 years while they hold this over you guys' head? And I was like, I'm not comfortable with doing that. So it was about 6 weeks later. This was May the 2nd. I went up there, signed it to speak.
May 2nd, 23.
Okay. And so my mom said, she had let me know, she said, if you turn your speech in, they will have it on the record and it will be in the minutes of the meeting. So I was like, okay, great. So I got shut down within like 5 seconds because the topic was county roads, right? And I said, this is what can happen to you if you're driving down the Smith County roads. Okay, so we've studied the Texas Government Code 551. They have to let me speak. There's so many people that go in there and talk about off-the-wall stuff that has nothing to do with what the agenda is. It's your First Amendment right. It's your God-given right before it's your First Amendment, and I stand by that too. But
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about, brother.
Right, thank you very much. I was shut down within 5 seconds. All right, you're not going to talk. If it's not on the replats, you can't speak. I said, okay, well, this is what I was going to say, and I handed it to all of them, and then I handed something else. I can't remember what I had, but so they had my speech, and I told Neil at the end of it, I said, hey, Neil, I'm coming back next week. I don't know why you think you're going to shut me down, but
so Neil, when you say Neil Franklin, we're talking about the
county judge.
County judge,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yep. And so he
Mr. Phillips.
Mr. Phillips. I'm gonna have to shut you down right there. So I got shut down. I come back next week, May the 9th, sorry. And the police presence was absolutely crazy. Like there were deputy vehicles lining like the street that aren't ever there, right by the front door.
2 vans.
How many?
2 vans.
Yeah. Anybody that could, anybody that was underneath Larry's jurisdiction.
Getting ready for this violent offender.
He ordered them to come to Commissioner's Court, like environmental guys that are never there, all the detectives. They have nothing going on in Smith County. Like, what do you care? No, because Larry told you to come today, So they were all there. And that morning, Brenda was first. Brenda Bamberg. She's someone who's been in
Miss
court.
Bamberg.
Miss Bamberg. She's been in court for a long time speaking, and so has our good friend Bob Brewer. These people have been carrying the torch a long time before we showed up, and I'm really happy that we've made friends with them and everything. But and more people are coming. But so back to she was speaking, Miss Bamberg, and she was talking about some of the lies that Sheriff went on the news and said that this boy had a gun in his car. He was 17 years old. Well, there was no gun ever found. The feds actually dropped the charges. She knows all of this because she knows the boy's mom. Okay, so same thing Sheriff did to us. He went on the news and lied about our family. Absolutely falsehoods, right? He did the same thing with this boy. They offered him life in a mental institution because he was getting bullied at school. This is the grounds of it all. Or 5 years TDC. So, all right, well, they did that, right? So he felt pressured into taking the plea. But she was bringing up the...
It's a please bargain.
A
not
plea,
a plea
right.
bargain.
Yeah,
Right.
please take
Yeah.
this.
Please bargain.
Right. So she's just saying, well, this was a good story for you because this was an election year. And when she says you, it's talking about Sheriff Larry Smith. And she had said it like 8 times. Well, by the last time she said it, she said, Ms. Bamberg, I'm going to have to stop you right there. You keep directing your comments towards the sheriff. Well, guess what? Who is the head guy in charge of this? He's the person. And then they want to wash their hands of all of it and say, well, we're just commissioners. We don't do the jail, So, and I've told the commissioner's court this to their face. I said, y'all have already told me y'all aren't anything. Y'all said that's his jail. So I'm coming to the person that's, in charge. And I said, let her speak. So because after she was getting shut down, they grabbed the microphone, pushed it away from her. He started nudging her.
Not they.
Yeah, Matthew Lazarine. Thank you.
Yeah, who's now a councilman in White House.
White House. You're. I didn't stand up. I was in my seat. I said, "Let her speak. Let her speak. Let her speak."
Yeah. So I remember seeing that video. Yeah. You're back in the audience, and you weren't even being obnoxious when you said it either. It was you just said, "Let her speak." How many times did you say it? Twice?
3.
3 times. Okay. Let her speak. Let her speak. There was no warning.
Right.
There was no, hey, please don't.
Right.
You see in the video, and I don't know, I will play that video for everybody. Okay. So in the video, obviously you see Larry Smith
stand
up, and goodness gracious, he points at my uncle, and he says, "Get him out of here." So my uncle stands up. Plot twist: my uncle works for Smith County Sheriff's Office.
What position?
He's chief deputy. So so my uncle stands up, and then I think he waves for some uniformed officers to come over, and uniformed officers come in. So what you do at that point, and I want to get your thought process on that. You kind of lean up against the wall, and basically make them remove you. And so tell me kind of what because a lot of people, you go back to these comments on these videos, and you see people talking about, oh, you're just a spoiled, privileged brat. What was your thought process in that action at that moment? Because number one, I think it was a bit egregious to do what they do to make a spectacle out of it. You hear Larry Smith in the video saying, I just felt like it was too much. It's time to step in and take care of it. But it wasn't like you were just being completely obnoxious, and you weren't. It wasn't a major interruption. And so kind of walk me through that.
Where
I
was at is Brenda was speaking, right? She's soft spoken, so if no one stands up for her 3 minutes, who's going to stand up for my 3 minutes? Because I'm fixing to be the one to get shut down, right? So because I'm fixing to go speak what I was coming to speak about last week. So Neil's been knowing that I want to speak. Neil Franklin has been knowing that I want to speak about these issues. They say, oh, off agenda, off topic, we'll put it on the agenda, right? But my thought process whenever and it probably is thanks to Derek, but nonviolent compliance, right?
It's like when they say we were resisting, you have to be able to use, I know when you're looking at the law, to resist, you have to use force. So what force did I use to resist? I'm not using force by sitting down. Now you're using force because you have to pick me up and you have to drag me. You're the one who's having to actually forcefully remove me. Correct. And I think that's where Lance came in, because he told me that night, whenever we got him out of jail and he came home, he said, it reminded me of how Derek, when Jonathan Peters and Riley Rugg was taking Derek, I didn't use any force. I just said, no, I'm not going to go with you, and I'm sitting here and I'm doing nothing. Right. So you're going to have to pick me up and take me. That's not me forcefully using force at all.
So I sat down on the ground when I knew that something was fixing to happen. I assumed it was that. Well, the man, Robert Young, came to me, the deputy, he's courthouse security, and he says, come with me. And I'm like, no, I'm not coming with you. I haven't done anything. And I told him, I said, you swore an oath to the Constitution. And even before that meeting, him and Neil Franklin actually came over to intimidate me before, which I'm not someone who can be intimidated. Like, Neil doesn't scare me, Larry, none of them. There's nothing to be afraid of. The truth is on our side. God's on our side. And I think if I would have just stood up and walked out and got arrested, it wouldn't have made a shock in everyone's
right.
So that's where my mindset was at.
So let me see. Let me see if I have that particular video.
This is the moment Lance Phillips had to be forcibly removed from the Smith County Commissioner's courtroom after going limp and refusing to comply with deputies' orders. Phillips is the son of recently arrested County Clerk Karen Phillips and Precinct 3 Commissioner Terry Phillips, who were both at today's meeting. Phillips returned to Commissioner's Court following an attempt last week to speak on the recent arrest of his brother and the arrest of his mother for interfering. He was stopped due to his comments being unrelated to an agenda item as required.
It's not on the reflex. You cannot speak.
Okay. All right.
Phillips returned this week to try it again and was even questioned by County Judge Neil Franklin before the meeting, resulting in this back and forth in which a deputy had to ask Phillips to lower his voice. When it came time for public comment, Phillips had yet to make it to the podium when he started shouting as another citizen was admonished for not staying on topic and speaking directly to the sheriff, which is against the court's rules. Phillips can be heard shouting, "Let her speak."
I'm going to have to stop you
Why
there
did
because
you
you're
take
still
him off
talking
his
directly.
mayor for 2 weeks?
That's against decorum, and this is really not about the jail report.
Yes, it is.
No, it's about
It has to be
certain
how
things, and you were talking-
our inmates are treated. And you're not allowed to bear trial.
I'm going to have to stop you there.
Sheriff Larry Smith can then be seen asking deputies to remove Phillips from the courtroom. He refuses to comply, resulting in deputies having to forcibly remove him.
Decorum was severely broken this morning, and to the point that I felt it was time to do something. I got up from my seat.
County Judge Neil Franklin says in an effort to stay on track and handle the county's business, rules of decorum must be enforced.
Sheriff Smith saying his behavior in court will not be tolerated.
But if he's going to act like he is today, he's going to wear out the hinges on the door of the jail.
Speak on their constitutional rights during their 3 minutes.
So
how dare you?
There's so much that I have to say here. Preston, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, if he's gonna act like he did today in court, he's gonna wear out the hinges on the door on the jail. What?
What exactly? Shock.
Have you lost your mind?
Right.
I've never worked for a county, right? So, and I always say I never will. Even though I've got my own.
County policing is totally different than city policing.
That's true.
I'm a city cop.
Okay.
I wouldn't be a good deputy.
Okay.
Right. And I think especially now, I haven't been a cop that long, but if I was to try to make that transition, it's just two different styles of policing, right? So, so I don't know a lot about county government, but I do with municipal government, and I would assume
close to the same.
I would assume that the rules of the meeting rules would be similar.
Right.
My question is, you said that the sheriff stood up and basically directed for you to be arrested and removed from the meeting.
Correct.
Who is the only one, and who presides over those meetings?
That would be the county judge.
So does the sheriff have the authority?
No, he does not.
To give that order.
Correct.
To
He
remove
does not
somebody
have
from the
that
meeting?
authority.
The county judge would need to look at the sheriff.
There you go.
That's why law enforcement is required under most in municipalities. Our charter requires a peace officer be present during city council meetings. The mayor presides over the meeting. Correct. The mayor has the authority to say remove them.
Right.
And then the law enforcement officer would be under order by a legal magistrate at that point, because the mayor is actually a magistrate for municipality, right? So then the officer would be acting on the magistrate's order to remove that person from. But the sheriff, I don't know if it's different in county government.
No,
but
you're right.
Does
That
he
was
have
illegal. No. The presiding officer is Neil Franklin, the county judge. So he should have. And now the decorum, the decorum is as far as there's 3 rules, right? So first, if there isn't a disturbance or there's supposed to be a warning. Right. If you continue to,
which you never got, right?
But all given by the county judge, not the sheriff.
Right. Correct. So the warning comes first. Then there is, if you continue, then there is
fine.
It's the contempt.
Oh yeah.
The contempt. They will take a vote for contempt.
Yeah, $25 fine.
And it's a $25 fine in our bylaws, or either 24 hours in jail.
I was just reading it's in the code.
Okay,
actually.
Texas government code. Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So,
Tell him that's what he did next time. Whenever Lance got arrested on January 2nd, they had the sheriff. Even Neil Franklin, take him out. I mean, that was all.
Do you want to go that far ahead? That's January 2nd. We're going from May to January.
I mean, it's still the same thing.
Right.
Is that they've wisened up, because the first time the sheriff was the one taking him out, and the second time the sheriff's deputy looks up at the judge, and then the judge goes, take him out.
Let me. Here's how it went. Get off the podium. You got 15 seconds of your 3 minutes. Now leave. Go sit down. I went to go sit down. There was a bailiff going, come over here. And I'm like, you're not going to funnel me into where you want me to go. I'm going over here just because you're telling me go that way. So I sat down on the first row, and then after that, they had 4 courthouse security come over to me, and they're just standing there. We can report that charges have been dropped. They also dropped the 3 counts of simulating legal.
I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
The 3 counts of simulating
Right.
legal process.
Right.
We talked a little bit about that at dinner.
Yep.
Because I didn't quite understand it, but obviously tell everybody. We want the audience to know.
Mm-hmm.
So you're arrested May 9th. When did your next arrest come?
Okay, so I got out.
I want to do these arrests in order.
So I got out of jail that night. That's the interview he just played with Larry Smith, threatened me with more jail time. And then, so fast forward a little bit, maybe help me out. So I went to Commissioner's Court in June and spoke fine, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. The next court day or arrest would have been.
You got out of jail, and then you went down to pay your taxes. And when
Right.
you were at the Cotton Belt building to pay your taxes,
August the 7th is when that was. It was around August the 3rd or 7th, right? That's when they arrested me. I was at the Cotton Belt building, rails back. Well, when I went in there, I think it's like Walmart where they have facial recognition technology. So they knew Lance Phillips walked in that thing. It was like
so you went to pay your taxes
Right.
at the tax office.
Right, the sticker on the window for your vehicle.
Okay.
Right.
And
So-
while you were there,
Right.
you got approached by cops.
Right. These are the bailiffs for the court, right? They do the same thing. Sometimes they're in the courtroom, sometimes over here at this office.
and they
building.
know us. I
Yeah,
worked
they
with
know
him.
us, right.
It's not the fact that facial recognition. They know us.
Well, he goes,
We are.
I think you have a warrant. He goes, come with us. We need to talk to you. I said, you can talk to me right here. I'm in line taking care of business. And he just grabs me and puts me in handcuffs and click, click, click. I was like, what is going on? You know, like, I'm here to pay my taxes and I'm still, well, we think you have a warrant out. So they pull me into this like little room over here on the side and there's all the cameras. And I say that facial thing because it's got little blue squares that pop up and stuff every time somebody walks in.
Right.
So we're sitting there for like 30 minutes while they try to figure out what's going on. I was in cuffs, but I was able to like call my dad. Like,
I saw the videos.
Yeah.
They're on your page.
I thought that was like just.
And we can put some of those I'll put some of those here in the
I was
podcast.
like, Dad, they're arresting me down here at the Cotton Belt building. They said,
And then he
I had
took
a
your
warrant.
phone.
And they took my phone. By
They
that
took your
time,
phone.
by that time,
Daddy's stealing my phone.
Yeah,
Without a warrant.
Without a warrant. And my dad even asked Railsback, Sergeant Railsback, do you have a warrant for that phone? No, it's wanted in the commission of another crime, not any of these crimes, which it wasn't. The point that I was making is that yes, they stole my phone without a warrant more than once, and I know probably a lot of people do this, is put your passwords on your phone. So my bank account, my crypto, my every single thing, Facebook. Like, I don't have control.
Why did they want your phone?
Because of the
because
videos.
I mean, information is power, right? I mean, like, the truth is, once the light gets on this whole story and everyone sees, like, wait, it's not what KLTV said from going forward since May and March all the way. Everything they've been saying is a lie. So, like, I can't answer for the why they wanted it.
So I want to make it clear. They detained you that day at the tax office because of the 3 charges of simulating legal process.
Correct.
That's what we ended up finding out.
Right. And so
Teresa Smith.
Teresa Smith was the one that called the
Bobby Garman.
Bobby Garman. He is a consultant and civil process server. So he is the same.
Teresa Smith's a detective.
She's a detective. And
Called Bobby Garman, a process server that is an ex-Smith County deputy.
Right.
Okay.
So when I gave Bobby this paperwork, I said, hey, does everything look good? Do you need anything else from me? And he says, no, I'll take care of it.
And when you say paperwork, you're talking
This is
about
3 subpoenas.
So what? Who were you subpoenaing?
I was
and why?
subpoenaing Larry Smith, the one that ordered me arrested for the disrupting a meeting, and I was subpoenaing Neil Franklin, the one that was in charge, the administrator of that meeting, and I was also subpoenaing the man that put the cuffs on me and wrote the false affidavit, which was Matt Lazarine.
Because you were representing yourself, right?
I felt forced into contracting with the court-appointed. Well, I couldn't get a hold of him. He was ordered to contact me within 24 hours. Never called me. So we found out through the discovery process later down the road that I said, look, when I finally did get a hold of him, I sent an email to like 20 people at the courthouse, at the county. You know, all their email addresses are smith-county.com, right? So we just know their name. We just email them, right? So did that. And I said, can someone please have my court-appointed call me back? I haven't spoken to him. Well, when he did finally call, he called my father, like, he's not me, I'm not him, I don't know why you're, yeah. Like, so then got a hold of him, and I said, I'm not going to talk anything about my case. I want you to be knowing nothing or what you've seen on the news, right? So tell me, what is the offer that the DA is giving me? And he comes back with, I had to call him the next day. Well, they want to do 10 days in jail and a mandatory psych evaluation. Well, what I found out on the mandatory, that never came from the DA's office. My court-appointed lawyer had already put in the psych evaluation, which out of all of this stuff, that is one of the sickest things that they have done to this family, is try to say that one of us is mentally incapable of knowing what innocent is, what guilty is, what a jail, what a prison. These are the questions that the doctor asks you to know if you know what, do you know what a crime, like all of this stuff. Well, if I would have failed the competency evaluation, that's 3 years in a county jail waiting for a bed to open up at a mental health facility. Right, so a
3-year wait list is what you're saying?
A 3-year wait list, right. So now they get to drug you or to make sure your mind is right, how they say it.
And then you probably would have got a guardian ad litem appointed by the county.
I don't even like to think about that. Thank you, God, for saving me from that, and that's a miracle. My whole life has been a miracle from start to finish. So.
Tell them what the competency. Tell them what happened with that. What was written by the doctor in there, and then what the judge did after he read it himself.
Right. So the doctor Proctor, don't know his first name, but he's out of here in Dallas, and most of these doctors, it's their job to just rubber stamp, and they know what their job is, right? They know that they're supposed to say this dude is incompetent to stand trial. And so he actually wrote that I was above average intelligence. And Clay White sealed the records. Clay White sealed the records, which we've got them. So,
but that pissed him off.
Oh yeah, I actually found out before.
It was in Justin. It was in 3 different. I read it. It's a 5-page report. And in 3 different areas, the paragraph here, and whatever, it said that Lance was above average intelligence level than most people. Than anybody that he would come in contact with. So now that it says that he's smart and above average intelligent level, Clay White reads it and he goes, nope, nobody's eyes except for mine. He sealed it with the court record, nobody's eyes except for his. Somehow we got it. I don't know how Lance had to pay $20,000 for it. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So we've got a $20,000 doctor report.
We're getting it back on the back end.
So, okay, there's so much. Okay, so I'm trying to get to the simulating legal process because I want to talk about that bond. That's where I'm trying to get to.
Get there.
Just jump there.
So
you were at the tax office. Going back to the tax office.
Got to the tax office.
You got detained and arrested for simulating legal process, but I'm trying to figure out what they were saying you did wrong. That's where we're at.
Okay.
Like where
technically, they dropped those charges, right? So they know that there wasn't a crime. But what they were trying to say that I actually did wrong was I didn't put the county clerks. I didn't run it through their office first. You're supposed to have their little stamp of approval on it.
Your mom's office?
Right, my mom.
So you were subpoenaing
Sheriff Larry, Neil Franklin, and
that's it.
Matthew Lazarine.
Yeah, that's 3.
Yep.
Okay. So you were subpoenaing them, sending them subpoenas for your trial, your court hearing.
Correct.
Okay. So you did that. You hired an ex-Smith County deputy who owns a process-serving company.
Right.
The ex-chief, by the way.
Yep. Okay, ex-chief. That's right. He owns this company. You send him the 3 subpoenas through email.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
So you send him 3 subpoenas through email, and he, I guess, prints them and sends them through anyway without the proper signature, even though you paid this is the guy that you've hired to
$210 it cost me to pay him to do a job that he is charging me with.
Why didn't he make sure those were correct?
Right. Well, I can speculate, but obviously he worked there for how many ever years, decades, and so he's closer friends with them. I'm bragging to Bobby, like, this is never going to trial, dude. I'm going to subpoena them. I'm excited. And so I'm like, our case is this, that, and the other. So I guess I underestimated how close they actually were. They were but anyway, the paperwork was not illegal. It was only invalid, right?
And so they come after you for it.
To try to charge me with a criminal offense.
So you're saying
they
Carissa Smith.
There you go.
Yeah. And yeah.
So they didn't try to come after you. They did come after you.
And I did 54 days in jail when I got arrested.
So what was that bond?
$550,000, which I can report that my bond was higher than Trump's.
Yeah.
There's a murderer in Smith County. His was like $300,000.
You just like
I'm like, yeah. Hey.
You can commit murder and get a matter of fact, the people who were in Dallas, I think it was you that shared it with me. Somebody, maybe was it you? Four people that maybe murder in New York, and they just got out on a PR bond. But over here in Smith County, you just speak at the commissioner's court, $500,000.
$550,000 bond,
and that's on top
for
your
your process server not making sure the paperwork was correct.
Right.
And they put you in jail for it.
And I was already out on a $105,000 bond on another misdemeanor.
So you're at $690,000 right now, and this is all to blame Bobby Garman.
Where's Ken Good when you need him? The bail reform guy that we had on last week.
Ken probably hook you up on that bond deal.
Well, don't anybody hire Bobby Garman's company because you'll get arrested if you do.
But
most of the time, it's just returned in error. Oh, this subpoena doesn't have a stamp and seal from the court clerk. Oh, it's invalid. It needs to be resent again. Somebody looked at that and said, no. You know what? I could use this as intent.
Not somebody.
To show
I wonder who that somebody is.
Teresa Smith.
I can use this to falsify an affidavit to try to show some sign of intent to inconvenience this man and retaliate against his family, which is exactly what they did.
I'm telling you guys, you know that emoji on the iPhone, the little mind blowing, I cannot believe you had a $550,000 bond for 3 class B, were they B or A?
B.
But yeah, class B misdemeanors. 3 class B misdemeanors, $550,000. I've put murderers, child molesters.
I
mean,
child molesters
you name it.
Got that.
Wow.
And they had you sit on that. Did you try to get a bond reduction hearing?
Right, and the only reason
Tell me about that.
Who was the judge that set that, Lance?
That was Austin Jackson Reeve, and thank you for keeping because
Austin
we don't want to say
Jackson.
they. We're going to say this whole
Austin Jackson Reeves.
Austin Jackson Reeve.
Austin Reeves Jackson. Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually was able to talk to him last week, and he ran away from me. I said, "Why did you set my bond?" I didn't. We'll talk in a minute. I got to go over here, and I'll go talk to him. He runs away. He's hiding. Then he sends the courthouse security over. I was like, they said you were doing something. And I said, well, the camera says different. So that's how that works. Have a good day, But yeah, $550,000. So just to educate your audience a little bit, some of the things that we're doing is a state commission on judicial conduct. So if anybody listening has had a judge do some crazy stuff to them that steps outside of the guidelines that the judge are supposed to follow the law, these are easy steps that you can do, and judges don't like getting that. It doesn't look good on their record if they're trying to go for a higher seat or something, and they can. I don't know what all the little slap on the wrist or whatever it comes with it, but it's just what we have. And the court-appointed lawyer, we've done that too. They can have the state bar. You go and file a complaint on them.
Most definitely.
Right, and so he may lose his license, Christian Johnson.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
This crap is going on probably more than we know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep going back to this. You guys have had the resources to deal with it.
Right.
You've had the voice to deal with it. I'm giving you this platform because I think,
Thank you.
I say I don't mean that in a prideful way. I just mean this platform is available for this kind of stuff because we cannot stand for this.
Right.
We can't. And if and this is, you're $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 deep into attorneys at this point.
Oh, more than that.
And
yeah,
I'm just kind of at a loss for words, if we're being honest. In Smith County, Texas, in my backyard where I grew up, this is what's going on.
They're weaponizing the justice system, and there's been no victim.
Who is they? Are you
Larry
talking about
Smith.
Jacob Putman, Larry
Jacob
Smith?
Putman, yeah.
Well, you have to start naming these people and giving them. You humanize the badge. That's what they want, right? Let's humanize these people who are doing these bad things to us and make sure they don't do it again.
And if anybody goes to church with these folks, go shake their hand and say, "What are you doing to the Phillips family?"
You just brought up church. You should tell them what your church did to you. 45 years we've been going to Rose Heights Church of God in Tyler, Texas.
Bo Richardson.
And guess what they said? No more. The Phillips family is not allowed to be in there because Tyler Pride said so. And Tyler Pride actually is married to a one who is dated Lance whenever he was younger. Her name's Charity Pride, a Charity Purser. And
Who's Tyler Pride?
He's Charlie Pride's son, who's a Tyler PD officer.
Yep.
And the bailiff of Rose Heights Church. So it's a big thing.
Criminal trespass. You kind of left that part out. So literally come up to me and said, "You're not welcome here. The staff doesn't
At the
want
church?
at the church that we've been going to for 40-something years."
And after it was over, this
Were
is
y'all
like
doing something
No,
or
walking
I was
out,
talking to the people that I've gone to church with forever. Yeah.
saying hello,
yeah.
and then Tyler Pride walks up and says,
not in the Bible Belt. You telling me somebody in the Bible Belt shunned y'all?
my mom walked up and she goes, "You know what's funny is the very last. You know how every church has like a
motto,
saying, a motto, logo, whatever. He says, 'Love one another as I have loved you. For this shall all men know that you are my disciples, even though come Lord Jesus.'" Well, that's what they say every Sunday. And my mom just turned around and said it to Tyler Pride and said, "Wow, love one another as I have loved you." You know, so like she said the whole spill. So it's just funny that they're not practicing what they preach. It's just pageantry.
Right. So I want to talk about that for a minute too. Gosh, there's so much to talk about. I hear people say, I think people are judging the situation because you guys are being vocal about it.
That's right.
Right. So because you're being vocal, because you're not laying over and accepting what this system is doing to you and what this system is doing to your family, you're not going to take it. You're using your voices. Some may deem you as crazy and loud and just uneducated or whatever the case may be. But a lot of the comments and things that I've seen are just from like people don't think, and I'm going to be quite honest with you, bless her heart, don't judge her because she's 93. But I went to my grandma's house a couple weeks ago and we walked in and she had the TV going and I said, "Grandma, what are you watching?" She says, "I'm just going to see which one of these crazy boys are going to do this next." And she was talking about y'all.
Whoa.
And so, of course, you know, she's 93. That's the generation that she comes from. But my point to that is this. That's what everybody there think because it's a very political county, political city. Everybody there are Christians, and they all go to church together. They all, go to each other's house on the weekends and drink their wine and visit together, and they're all in cahoots together.
That's right.
That's all it is. Right. And so when you piss somebody off over here at the sheriff's office, well, you automatically piss somebody off at the DA's office.
And at the church.
To piss somebody off at the DA's office, you piss somebody off at the church. And it's all connected. And that is happening all across this country more than we know. Yep. In places like Smith County, Texas.
They're trying to cancel me as a person. And I could open up my phone and show you some of the things like the censorship that Facebook has. I've had to go get second phones. And they know everything about me. They know what my job is. They know all of this stuff. And so if my financial well-being is tied to this cell phone and Facebook, then let's just destroy Lance's I almost cease to exist as a person online, which is very
scary.
Of
this, going back to the simulating legal process, they took your phone and they also got a search warrant for your email account.
Right.
Your Yahoo email account.
That's crazy.
Did you get your phone back? I guess did you?
I got two phones. There's one, and we're still waiting on my mother's.
Hold up.
Because he emailed those subpoenas to Bobby Gorman.
No. But that doesn't make Bobby Gorman
he's the civil process.
He's a contractor,
right.
That everybody has to use him, or do you get to choose? You could have hired another.
It's a private business,
right?
So that has nothing to do with the county clerk getting hurt. Absolutely not. Does the county clerk specifically contract with Bobby Gorman, or did you have to pay him?
I did.
For those.
I paid.
So why did your mom's phone get taken?
Right. No. He's talking about his phone.
I mean, my phone did get taken.
No, he just said it.
Yeah. Well, her phone's been taken for what happened with her thing, right? But they still have my.
No,
for the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took Karen's phone.
Yeah,
because,
that's what I'm asking.
Because of the traffic stop, and she was recording.
So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they won't give us any of this other stuff either. They say because y'all are planning on suing us, we're not giving you anything.
Because you were recording, it doesn't mean recording. How does somebody even get a warrant?
They had their own. They had their own cameras. Why do they need yours?
I've got a body camera.
Right.
Body camera.
Why do I need your mom's
dash cam?
Right. No, they don't.
That's a violation of privacy.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I don't care what they write
right.
in that damn warrant or PC affidavit. Like, that's called stretching it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that would be Philip Grenade and Jason Railsback and Larry Smith. And Teresa Smith. They stretch.
So they take the time to send a warrant to Yahoo over misdemeanors.
But here's the thing. We all know. You get a search warrant for a phone, and you run that search warrant, and you get that phone dumped. You're going to have access to a lot more things.
Everything.
A lot
Your
more things.
entire
Stop
life.
interrupting me.
Sorry.
I'm
agreeing with you.
A lot more information than just what I'm looking for in that search warrant, right?
That's why
because
they
that's
did
how that's how these systems work. That they use to search these electronics. The intent and the way those systems are designed is to be used for the good, right? Because there is evil out there in the world.
We know.
But it's upon the officer's own integrity to only look at what that warrant tells him he should be looking at. This blows my mind, because I guarantee you they looked at just email me the damn video.
Right. They could have asked for it. We would have given it to them.
Yeah. Why do you need This is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's lawless, Larry Smith. And,
That's true. There is no integrity in Smith
There is
County.
none, and don't want to go way far off, but he was driving the Bradleys in Waco. Larry Smith was. That's true. And he went on KLTV and bragged about it.
Yeah, he said he's the one who actually drove the tank inside the Waco church with the guy
David Koresh?
Yeah,
Yep.
David Koresh.
Yeah.
You know, all the women and children that died and how it blew up.
Yeah,
that was Larry Smith, and he's proud to tell it
law,
on the
law
news.
enforcement. I mean, they did right on that, didn't they?
Yeah,
My
burn the church down
with all the kids inside. Yeah, thank you, Larry Smith.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I saw that interview. Is there an interview out there about it?
Yeah,
I believe so.
There's a whole Netflix documentary about it, but yeah.
Get out of here. He was.
But just to back up, there is no integrity there.
Yep.
And I get so damn sick and tired of hearing these stories about or hearing a cop make an arrest, and it might be a good arrest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be a lawful arrest, and then they're like, "Did you get the phone?" Maybe somebody gets arrested for narcotics,
right.
and just possession. I'm so sick and tired of hearing somebody go, "Did you get the phone?" Why? Well, he could be selling it. Really? Let's be realistic.
Well, what they put in those warrants, the language in the warrants are, we know that individuals use their phone for this and that.
I've got a folder full of cookie cutter templates that people tell you this
because
is,
we know
these,
that they
these,
use their phone.
Yeah, it's been proven over my training and experience that people who manufacture and deliver narcotics use their electronic cell phone device. Blah 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 blah. It's the same spiel over and over and over again. What I'm getting is I'm getting so tired of hearing, like, we don't have to violate everybody's privacy, just because they break the law, right? Or just because you make a mistake. I'm not saying that applies to this situation, but it applies to so many people's situations. Like we just go and violate the people's privacy because we can. Well, guess what? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Use some damn common sense. Use some spirit of the law, right? Because justice is going to be different for everybody. It's not the same, and you can't apply it the same across the board.
Right.
But
while I was locked up those 54 days, my dad said that we assume the sheriff, but they sent the cable guy and the Encore Electric to tap into the whatever they have to do, And just last Tuesday, Larry Smith went to the board, the commissioners, to get more money for more cameras and secret recording devices and stuff.
Y'all might not have that maybe you do. I don't know. But in Smith County, they have cameras in the transformers that are up on top of the...
they use them for narcotics investigations.
Yeah. You can look in. Matter of fact, there's a wall. I don't know if you've ever seen the old movie, The Batman, where you'd walk in and they could see all the millions of screens. They have the same thing in Smith County. All these
at the tag center. right?
Yeah. So now all these cameras are there. You walk in and they can see all these cameras. Where are these cameras coming from? Well, they're up in the transformers, and they can just go put them, and they can zoom in 2 miles, look inside your window in your house, read the newspaper, the clock on your watch, or what time on your watch, whatever. They can. Those are very amazing cameras that they can see any of that stuff. And now they just happen to be all over our house, his house, up and down our road. They're watching us like a hawk.
And honestly,
that's unbelievable.
That stuff's becoming.
And we're watching them.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't do anything.
We don't do nothing.
Well, that's a whole nother spiel, but that stuff's becoming common in new development. There's companies like Flock.
Okay.
That's it's safety and safety and security cameras, and it's you got active it's monitored actively. It'll read license plates, and if anything's in the system, and a wanted vehicle drives through a neighborhood, and it'll pick up on that LPR.
Wow.
And next thing you know, it's going to notify the police. And it's like, at what point do we go back to valuing privacy and our God-given rights, and get back to our sense of purpose and mission, right? Like when. And I will agree with what you said. It's you guys are standing up, and whether we have differences of opinion on some things, or whether or not everybody wants to agree with your point of view, there is no excuse to your constitutional rights being violated, or your God-given rights, and be targeted. And not everybody's in the position to do what you do, and that's stand up and speak and let your voice be heard. And I said this a couple episodes to another group of people, but that's called courage. And this country is lacking it. This profession is lacking it. But this country in general is lacking the courage to stand up for what is right.
Well, look what happens. Look what happens when you do stand up. They come after you even more.
But
look at these guys.
So my question is,
and they can.
But there is no excuse to not.
Right,
do it.
you still have to do it.
I agree.
Do
I agree, but I'm specifically speaking of the people that can't shell out this much money. Think about those. I mean, we've had them on our show. The people who've been wrongfully convicted. That, well, I have to take a plea bargain because I think, well, I'll get out, in 10 years rather than if I take it to trial because I didn't do it, and I don't have the money to get any more than this, crap court-appointed attorney. If I go to trial, I'm going to get 50 years. And our justice should not come in the form of money. We shouldn't we shouldn't be able to obtain justice only if we have the resource.
This entire system has been monetized.
That's it.
Fact.
The profession's been monetized. Hey, you know how many marketing emails I get a day on the latest and greatest?
Oh wow!
I need the newest taser. You know how much a taser and a body cam will run?
500, 800,
1,200.
Try about $7,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't like the fact that the sheriff is now treating Lance like he's nobody. That he doesn't count as a person. He said that, by the way, at the debate.
Yeah. So I saw that video on Texas police audits, and he's like, I hadn't had a internal affairs investigation in the 43 years I've been in law enforcement. And then Lance is sitting in the audience, and he goes, and Mr. Phillips, yours doesn't count. And then everybody just starts laughing.
I've been in law enforcement 48 years, going on 48 years. I have not had one internal affairs investigation in my career, ever. I don't think many people can say that. And no, Mr. Phillips, yours don't count. Okay, it will. It will.
Like,
what's funny about that?
The Smith County Republican Party, or what is it?
Grassroots America, We the People. Joanne Hampton is
Fleming.
Fleming, yeah.
It's just those people think y'all are crazy because you've stood up and you've used your voice. That's exactly what it is.
That's it.
And they won't take it serious just simply because you have rebuttal for what's been done wrong to you.
Right.
And that's why those people laugh, because they trust in Larry Smith. We trust in Smith County law enforcement. We trust.
Right.
That's what it is. They don't look at the wrong. And I wish to God that this podcast gets out to so many people in that area because they need to hear it. and I've got plenty of videos that I'm gonna link. Your Texas police audits. You guys do really
Can we
good
link
on there.
or at least just say it? But I've got 2 groups on Facebook. One is Smith County Alliance, and another one is Reawaken Tyler, Texas, Smith County.
Yes.
So,
One thing I want to talk about too, because we're gonna have to wrap it up here soon. But recently, I saw a video, and you try to tell me where in the process this was. They went to your parents' house. The sheriff's office went to your parents' house looking for your phone, I believe, and they forced. Your parents. First of all, they tried to make your dad stay outside. He's like, "No, I'm not staying outside."
It was 105 degrees. It was
July.
Yeah.
So what was going on? I'm going to play that video so everybody can see it.
Hello. How are you? I'm Deputy Van Horn, Smith County Sheriff's Office. The reason why I'm here, so I know Lance was just here. The constables just came through here. So I was given a directive to come over here and get Lance's phone.
He did not bring it. Lance did not bring his phone here.
He didn't bring it?
Live here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Come here. Lucy, come here.
So I understand he don't live here. All right. So he's making a phone call real quick. And then we'll move forward from there, but obviously we'd like to let you enjoy your evening.
Yeah.
So we'll move forward.
And that's fine, whatever. Okay.
Well, I'll have you stay outside for me, okay?
No, I'm not going to stay outside. I mean, I don't have a phone. My job, I'm
can't.
in there watching.
I understand.
Because I know nothing about a phone. I know nothing about this.
What the process is and what the outcome could be, okay? If the phone is
Thanks for the thread.
But here's the thing, while we're waiting on the search warrant, we can't let anybody inside the house, and that y'all have to stay out here with us.
Okay, there you are standing at the door.
All right, let me get the time. It's 14:24:08, and the officer's at the door saying he's wanting to talk to us. He's coming through, supposedly looking for a person.
Without consent.
Without
did
a
not
warrant.
consent to it. Asked him not to, and he said he's going to do it.
I'm not going to let someone in my house to walk around without me being in it.
No warrant.
No warrant. There he is. He's looking in all those places. There he goes. 14:26:14. There he is walking into the guest bathroom. He spent time looking under beds that were 3 inches from the ground, and I said to him sarcastically, "Well, there's nobody hiding underneath that bed." I wanted to get him out of my house as soon as possible.
They forced their way in without a warrant. They're totally walking around your parents' house like it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to stop us from saying they. It's Kevin Van Horn. Kevin Van Horn did not have a warrant, and Kevin Van Horn came inside of our house.
The words he used, he said, "I got a directive to come over here and get Lance's phone."
A directive.
Well, who was your direct? I want to get him on the stand and go, "Who directed you?
Who directed you?"
Well,
Answer
that's not exactly legal.
So what was that? When
that was July 29th.
So
right.
Why did they want your phone?
I can't
at that
do the
point in
why.
time, why did they want your phone? Because they wanted your phone so many different times.
Did they get a warrant at all?
No.
No, they just went in the house. I sent you
never.
the video the other day.
Like as far as content creation and stuff, like I was always going up to like the judge, Kerry Russell, the one that signed the affidavit about my mom. I was like, "Why did you do that? You're a liar. Like you, the guy that told you this lied, and then you just rubber stamped it, right?" So these are some of the things that I was doing. Is hey. We're not going to lay down. Like, I see you. I know who you are. You have to walk to your car. Not that I was, like, going to attack them or anything, but just, like...
You're in a public space.
You're a public space. You're a publicly elected official. I have questions. That's what I said. Can I talk to you, Kerry Russell? No. Okay, well, now you've got cops guarding you to walk to your car. Well, I'm going to scream at you anyway.
Well, the Pam Franklin and Larry Smith, both of them I've seen both of them say, "I'll talk to you. I'll talk to anybody."
Mm-hmm.
But you can't talk in commissioner's court. They won't allow it because you're not on topic. And then whenever you go see them at a Grassroots America or something, you walk up and try to talk to them. They say, "Oh, can't talk to you," or they walk away. So they're refusing to talk to the people, and yet they're saying that they will.
Even Neil Franklin did. I was laying on my couch, and Neil Franklin was reading off the decorum. It was like right at the beginning of the year. He goes, I just want to read this. It's a new year. Let's just start off right. So he reads like 10 minutes of rules. I said, he's talking straight to me, talking about I've broken the law and all of this stuff. So I brushed my teeth, throw on some clothes. I literally ran up there. I don't live that far away, but I was running, breathing hard, running to the thing. I go in there. I said, are they going to executive session or is this over? And the guy says, it's over. I said, Neil, and this is all in Texas Police. So I said, you're getting subpoenaed. And everything that you just said about how I broke all these laws and everything, I didn't do any of that. And you didn't even go by your own decorum, which says warning, then it says contempt, then it says some other steps may be taken, which you don't. You're like, I said,
so you're not allowed to sing either.
Listen, I saw that video. We're going to play it.
I would say this for anybody public, redress is, so they can dress their local officials and they could come up and sing a song for 3 minutes. I don't care. If they want me to listen to them, I'll listen to them. I think that's what we're here for. When you unilaterally rule that somebody's gotten off topic, well, they may have to give a little background information to get to where they're going to say, hey, this is why you don't need to do X, Y, and Z because this happened.
You expressed that you felt like someone should be able to get up there and sing for 3 minutes if they wanted to. And I just don't believe that that's how a meeting, the county business should be taken care of.
This morning, Lance Phillips, the son of Precinct 3 Commissioner Terry Phillips, and Smith County Clerk Karen Phillips was arrested again for disrupting another commissioner's court meeting. Lance Phillips was attempting to speak about the district attorney's office seeking to approve overtime when Smith County Judge Neil Franklin stopped him as he went off topic. There was several back and forth until Judge Franklin stopped him and Phillips was escorted away by deputies. He was later booked into the Smith County Jail on a disruption of meeting charge on a $50,000 bond, according to jail records.
To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things He has done.
And I just don't believe that that's how a meeting, the county business should be taken care of.
This is the people's court, and we should be able to speak on the issue that when we can take the time off of work to come up here and tell you what our issue is. Not y'all say, oh, but that's not on the agenda today. So this is the people's court.
So what's crazy is your dad made a comment and said something along the lines of, and I'm paraphrasing, if somebody wants to get up here and sing for 3 minutes, we should allow that. Right. And then Neil Franklin gets up and follows suit and says, well, I don't think that's how county business should be conducted. And this was at some point during the summer, I guess.
No, January 1st.
Okay, January 1st.
Yeah.
Of this year.
January 2nd.
9th-ish, somewhere around there.
Whatever.
So then last week, I don't know who the lady was, but she gets up there and she starts singing "To God Be the Glory."
Right. Yeah,
and they don't stop her.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
What is this?
So Neil Franklin stops Lance, but doesn't stop her.
Right.
That's what we were wondering. The same thing. So in just 1 week before, he got up there and said there is no singing at Commissioner's Court. So now it's funny to us that God is like, Neil says no singing, and now God comes back and says, yeah, we're gonna sing. That's what happened.
It just allows.
We didn't send that lady up there. She was an employee.
Yeah, she works for Smith County. Yeah. She was getting her 20-year recognition of service or whatever.
To God be the glory.
To God be the glory.
Exactly.
Thank you for your 20 years. But here's my question: at what point do we have? Are we controlling local government? Are we controlling and saying, "Hey, you guys have to. You can only speak on the agenda item. You can't get up there and you can't freely speak. You can only speak on."
Can I touch on that?
Yes.
Okay, so the law says, this is the law, Texas Government Code 551.042B.
Yeah.
And what it says is if there's something that this man wants, anybody, doesn't have to be me, wants to speak about that is not on the agenda, no further discussion can be had except for to place that item on an agenda at a subsequent meeting. So.
Yeah, but no further discussion by the Commissioner's Court doesn't mean that you can't speak.
Right.
Right.
That's the way I would interpret that law.
Right. It just means they can't have a dialogue.
They
with
can't
me.
make decisions
Right.
about it if it's not on the agenda.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they got to shut you up.
Right.
Because how else are you going to know what I want you to put on the damn agenda if I don't get up here
Right.
and tell you
he
to
can't.
put on the agenda?
When you only let me speak for 15 seconds and the topic is about the DA getting overtime and comp time pay, and every single paragraph of mine said DA, 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 right? We're talking about pay. So at what point was I talking about something not DA? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I wasn't. I've always talked on ever since that May 2nd when he said no. I was like, okay, because I can be creative and kind of stretch a little bit here and go, okay, I can talk about this. But by law, they have to put sheriff jail operations on there either once or twice a month, or we would never discuss the jail and they just arrest anybody that wanted to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right. But by law, they have to put the sheriff jail operations. And jail operations, it takes a judge's signature to get you in jail. It takes a DA, all of that, right? So all of these topics are related, right?
They don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about nothing that we want to talk about. Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going back.
It's Neil Franklin.
Right.
We keep saying they don't want to talk about it, but Neil Franklin is
love
the
this
one
guy,
who
how he
said
brings them names
they.
and-
He goes, well, Neil said
I
I'm the
love
one who
it.
makes the decision. He goes, I make the decision,
List
and
all
I
of
do, and I do. I make the decision.
Pamela Frederick is another lady. She's up for election right now. I said,
vote her out. Vote her out.
Yeah. She's evil.
She's horrible. Dude.
Her husband came in after I left the debate the other night. Her husband came and got in my face and was like, I said, hey, Pam, I guess criminally trespassing me from commissioner's court didn't work out too well for you. Since it's a public building, obviously you can't criminally trespass.
Well, Matt Lazarine has criminally trespassed all three of us from the courthouse and the.
You can't do that.
I was in a restaurant. I was in a restaurant across the street when he tried to trespass me from a building that I hadn't been in 2 weeks, and I was never asked to leave. And I was conducting business. I have records actually of me conducting business and giving business to the county clerk to correct some files. So I'm sitting at a restaurant. And, first I try to walk into the judges' meeting because I said, I want to hear what these judges are talking about, right? Haven't even stepped in this building except for the one time that Ron Rathbun spit in my face and almost blew out my eardrum.
Hey,
with a
let's talk,
whistle.
Ron. I want to talk about that when you're done.
So, anyway, they say, oh, you can't come and sit at this judge meeting. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go to the restaurant across the street. My friend will sit in for me and text me what they're talking about. They're talking about how they only want court-appointed lawyers to be spending so much time on a case and like all this other stuff. That's while I'm in the restaurant.
Right there,
Yeah,
man.
less than 6
And
hours.
keep in mind, the only reason I'm able to know this is because my friend's texting me. I'm not allowed in this meeting. I'm sitting at the restaurant across the street from the courthouse, and whenever she gets back, I see Ron Rathbun. He's sitting in the restaurant eating, and he walks out. I kind of give him that stare in his eyes, let him know I'm not afraid of you because of your badge. You see what I mean?
So Ron Rathbun,
he walks out of the
who
restaurant.
Who is he?
He's a DA
IT
investigator. He's a DA investigator, head of IT.
Okay.
So anyway, he walks out, and guess who walks in? Who was in the judges meeting because I had a friend taking notes. Matt Lazarine. He comes in. I'm literally eating Mexican food. He drops a trespass warning. It starts falling like onto my food. I have like cheese. I'm like, whoa, like what are you doing? And it like gets his like the tip of it like gets some cheese on. I'm like, really, dude? I said, really? And he's like, oh yeah. And he just like storms out, He says, Cody Voss, and he storms out. The waiter, the friend I was with, everyone was just in shock. And I look at it, he trespassed me from the annex building, which I hadn't been to in 2 weeks, right? And that one had his signature. The first one that they gave me when I walked into the judge meeting had Larry Smith's signature himself that he pre-wrote or pre-signed for me in advance, anticipating that I was going to go to the judge meeting because Lance couldn't be there.
Well, what did it say on there?
Nothing but lies. Nothing but lies that I had been there multiple times, only been there once.
Who cares? It's a public building.
He was taking care of public business.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, hold on. I want to talk about Ron Rathbun.
Ron Rathbun.
There's a video where he spits in your face.
Yeah. Yep.
And the
And
other
whistles.
cops have to pull him off of you.
Yeah.
Yep. 2 videos.
And then there's a second video that was pretty recent, I think maybe.
And then guess what? You know
Last
how that
week.
ended up? They trespassed me.
The recorders and leave the courthouse.
Why are you so mean?
Because you won't listen.
Can you de-escalate,
You
please?
won't listen. Now you're listening because you're responding to me. Now we're having a two-way conversation. Just leave. Just leave.
Can you
Just
de-escalate, please?
Leave.
Can you de-escalate,
Leave.
please?
Leave.
Can you please
Leave.
de-escalate, please?
Leave.
Wow.
Leave.
Wow. Wow, calm down. What is wrong with you? Wow. Wow, he spit on him. He spit on him. Arrest him. He spit on him. He just...
That's how we always record. Hey, there he is right there. This is the guy that spit on us.
Get away from me. Step away from me.
Hey.
Step back.
Step
Step
back.
back.
Step back. Step back.
Step back. Get
Spit
away
on
from me.
Spit on me. Spit on me.
Step back.
Spit on me.
Step back.
Spit on me.
Step back.
Step back.
Spit on me.
So here's what happened. We were victims. We're victims of Smith County, victims of police brutality, and nothing matters. I can sit here and tell you what happened all day long. This doesn't matter. But what matters is whenever I put words on a piece of paper and I turn it in. I can get it notarized and say this is true, and I turn it in. They have to do something about it.
The record.
So it's a part of the record now. Well, what I've done is we've gone in there and we've tried to let them know, hey, we are victims, and we want to put, Jonathan Peters and Riley Rugg, they wrote their words on a piece of paper and turned it in. Now we want to write our words. We want our turn. Let us write our words on a piece of paper and turn them in. They wouldn't allow it. Matter of fact, when we went in there, I said, I don't even want to talk to y'all. I don't wish to talk to y'all. All I wish is for a victim statement form. I can go home and fill it out myself, and I'll come bring it in. And they would not give it to me. Still to this day refuses to give me one. Ron Rathbun, that is.
I saw the video. Jacob Putman says, you told him you're a victim. He says, well, call the police.
Right.
Victim. I'm a 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 victim. I want to talk to somebody. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Please. Call the police. Right.
Yeah.
With this little smug.
Yeah, they want you to call the police so
And
they
that's
can
the same
turn around
day-
and throw away the report. They can write down whatever they want to say that you said. No, I don't want you to tell them what I said. I can write down what I said myself. Let me just write down what I'm saying myself, and then we'll go about this way. Well, either way, I went ahead and wrote up something. He wrote up something, Lance as well, my mother as well, and we went ahead and had it notarized, and we put it in a certified letter, and I mailed it to the Smith County DA's office with Jacob Putman's name right on the front of it. He refused my mail and sent it back to me. Are you allowed to refuse mail as a public official? I mean, this is your job. Do your job.
Yeah, I don't know what the rule is, but you wouldn't think that would be happening, right?
Very interesting.
Common,
trying to bring
just common
charges.
sense. How are you in service to the people who elected you into that position if
Thank
you
you.
reject their freaking mail or words
Thank
or don't
you.
let them speak, right? So, like, I don't serve you. I don't have a master. I got one.
Mm-hmm.
I answer to one man.
That's right.
Right.
Yep.
One day.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's
what we
who
try to
I'm
tell
gonna
them.
that's who I'm gonna have to answer to, and I'm probably gonna have to answer for a lot, right? Because I ain't always been perfect.
Yep.
But if you're in a position of elected official, you've signed up to be a public servant, then do your damn job and serve.
Right.
Stop making excuses. Stop trying to write the rules. The rules are already written.
Right.
It's called the Constitution. And the laws that are elected on by elected officials and legislation. Quit doing your own damn thing. DAs don't make the laws.
Right.
They don't.
Well, they're doing their friends a favor. You know, if I'm your friend and I say, hey man, this guy's not Lance. He's really causing me some problems. Just arrest him.
But I think they do it so much more across the board.
They do.
Because they want to trim the budget. We gotta
Yes.
process cases faster. How do we do that? Let's offer more plea bargains. Hey, we don't want to. We need to cut down on spending on quote unquote attorneys. How do we do that? Exactly what you just said. Let's call a meeting and tell everybody, hey, no more than 6 hours.
Right.
Well, guess what that court-appointed attorney's probably going to do? He's probably going to keep it to 6 hours because he needs a damn job because he can't go work for a better law firm until he makes his bones as a court-appointed attorney, right? Unless he knows somebody. The system is so broken, and we've seen it. We've seen the victims who are voiceless because they can't afford to speak up, and. I laugh at some of these videos just because some of the comments that you'll see, right? Or like some of the things that people say, and it's like you're not valuing what he's saying because he's being loud. Right.
The delivery.
Yeah. Or because you don't agree with the words he uses. You're not valuing what he's saying. But here's the thing. If you tell people to shut up and be silent for so long. There's only so much people can take, and then they start screaming. Right. And I think the system is just so. It really gets me down sometimes. I really do. I get worried about what are my kids going to have to deal with when I'm gone.
I just have to stop you right there because that's what I said. My dad's been trying to tell us to shut up, and I said, if I'm not the one fighting right now, if I'm not the one saying something, guess what? Larry Smith is going to come after my son, and I don't want him coming after my son. I don't want my son to have to fight this fight. I can fight it for him. I can fight it for us.
Or somebody else's, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and I might not win. I might not win this. I might not win this battle.
Right.
I might not win the war. But I hope that I give somebody some courage to get in the fight with me.
Definitely trust that I have. People that I don't even know are strangers to me have gone up to speak at Commissioner's Court, and I didn't ask them or drag them or do anything, right? So
yeah, because somebody that has a moral compass that's pointing in the right direction is going to be able to look past anything they disagree with of how you might have delivered the message. Right. Somebody who has heart, that's something that we can't give people. I can't teach it to somebody. You just got to have it. Somebody who has that can look at this and go, okay, but that was wrong.
Yeah.
You can't teach compassion. You can't, man.
You can't teach compassionate heart. It's lost. Right. It's gone.
Well, all these people that I've worked with, you know, it's funny, a lot of the cops that I've worked with aren't cops anymore. But one thing that I've realized is that you have to be some sort of, I mean, when you think about putting somebody in handcuffs and throwing them in a cage, it's not happy-go-lucky fun time, right?
No, like there's nothing cool about
you're
that.
You're being tortured. So if you're going to torture somebody, you kind of have to be a little bit sick in the mind if you're going to be the one torturing them, right? And you have to be the ones that's deciding, what am I torturing them for? Oh, his brake light was out. Screw him, right? That you have to. What kind of guy is going to do that? He wasn't right in the head. I mean, you said it yourself. You wouldn't be arresting somebody's mother for being a mother. I mean, you have to lie. Matter of fact, the words that he wrote on the paper, I said, dude, you have to lie. The only reason I'm still sitting here in handcuffs is because you're writing lies down on that piece of paper. You have to.
And like you said, not to cut you off, but does someone who wants to maintain their privacy when having done absolutely nothing done, like any smart even an average human can say, okay, that guy really, I mean, he doesn't deserve to like get taken to jail tonight, right? Just because he didn't want to, like, you know, show us the respect that because of the badge, you know, and then they perpetuate it, and then here we are.
Here we are. Did you need to go to jail because you were an asshole, maybe because you didn't like the fact that this cop pulled you over? That's fine. That's your opinion. You cannot like the fact that you got pulled over for a tail light. Right? Is that against the law?
No.
Exactly.
Because I don't like it, and I'm going to give you some attitude right back. Is that against the law?
Well, so, we get upset because, you know, we have the right to travel. Like Lance was saying earlier, this is a God-given right. I don't get my rights from my government, Larry Smith. You're not giving me the right. That's a privilege, right? So I get my God-given rights from my God. And that, like you said, it's the one man that I'm going to answer to. And it's not Larry Smith.
And here's the thing, and that's you. So the way, you know, the way, and this is where people go, well, they're sovereign citizen, because that's something that you would hear from somebody who says, oh, I'm sovereign citizen. But the thing is like, don't you have the right to believe that?
I should have the right. I mean, you should have the right to religion. You should be able to have the right to believe in what you believe and you know, serve who you want to serve. I think Lance said it earlier. You can only serve one master. So when these people are serving, they're not serving God. They're
the bar card, right?
They're serving the bar card.
That's a major issue. That's something.
Yeah, man.
Well, I know I got off.
But no,
off a little bit.
Talk about you know, going back to God, but they'll show up at churches, all Green Acres Baptist Church,
don't give me stuff.
Rose Heights, whatever it's called, Church of God.
Church of God, yeah.
All these churches, Grace Community Church, all these quote unquote Christians, and I want to make it clear, I'm not dogging everybody as a whole, right? What I'm talking about are these public officials. That's who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They will go to this church, they will raise their little hand and praise the Lord, right, on Sunday morning, and shake Sister Sue's hand and God bless you, honey. We're over here doing the Lord's work, Monday through Friday. But it's not the Lord's work. Nope. All they are doing are ruining people's lives, taking people's freedom, and then they want to walk in church on Sunday and act like everything's just fine and they're big Christians. But then they turn around, and I'm mind blown about this Rose Heights thing, by the way. I didn't necessarily know that, so I'm trying to process that they would kick you guys out of your local church
that we've attended for 45 years.
For what reason? What was the reason?
Lance spoke.
Because it's called being a hypocrite. Yeah.
I can tell you this: the church that we went to, there's a girl by the name of Lee Correa. She's gone there for 45 years as well. She's closer friends with the head pastor than we are. And she's also the one who owns the company Flowers and Davis, which is the law firm that Smith County hires whenever they have anybody sue them. So now I know that Smith County has paid over $200,000 to Lee Correa's law firm to represent them and fight us when she's not even doing anything at all. As a matter of fact, all the FOIA requests we've ever put in have not been given to us. She keeps saying, matter of fact, Lee Correa said this. She goes, I'm not going to give up any of the FOIA requested information until the judge rules qualified immunity. If the judge rules qualified immunity, then we'll give it up to him.
Qualified immunity? Who?
They're trying to make sure that the cops can get away with coming into our house without the warrant, and then they'll give up the video footage of them coming in the house without the warrant.
And let me guess,
funny?
They're falling on. We're holding this because it's an open investigation.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
That Attorney General opinion.
Yeah.
When did the Attorney General make laws?
Good point. That's a good point. Well, Lee Correa is also so far up in this church where, like I said, the head pastor, Bo Richardson, his daughters, Amber and Tara, they grew up with Lee Correa, so they've all been best friends since birth, right? So whatever she says, they're more likely going to believe her. So if Lee Correa goes to the church and says, Lance and Derek are crazy, we need to make sure we arrest him and kick him out of church, well, then that's kind of where, guess what? You pay 10% of your tithe and offerings, it goes to the church. What's 10% of $200,000 that went into Lee Correa's pocket? Well, there you go. It goes now into the church pocket. Maybe she's giving more to the church than we are. Maybe that's why the church is taking directives from Lee Correa. Lee Correa is the one who's making the shot. She's the shot caller. And her brother had been bullying us since we were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All the years of us growing up, her and her brother has bullied us. So now here we are, 38 and 40 years old, and they're still bullying us.
Well, it's also a status thing too, right? So they have to maintain I'm the pastor of this church, this popular church here in Tyler, Texas. I need to maintain my community relationships with these people who are important. And so, because one day I'm going to need them. One day they're going to be able to do something for me. We might need them, for some legal reason for this church, or I have this status, I have this relationship. They can get me into places that regular people can't, and it's. I feel like that's also a thing, is a status and who and maintaining that above anything else.
But I tell you what, how dare we talk about religion?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing that.
And why are more and more people not coming to Jesus? What message are we sending? Right? Why would anybody want to come to Jesus?
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
I don't want to be with that Jesus.
Not the one that they're at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If that's your Jesus, then
well, I can tell you this.
out.
I've gone to church for, like I said, I keep saying the word 45 years. I'm not 45. I'm 38, or 37. I'm not really sure. Anyways, my parents have gone there for 45 years. Well, out of my 37 years of going to church there, I can tell you that I didn't start talking to God and start having a relationship with Him until after I stopped going to church there. So I've learned a lot. And a lot has been brought to light since then. And what actually picked on us is the fact that I've reached out to the church asking for prayer requests. I said, we have somebody in the church, Lee Correa, who is falsifying these documents, and now I need prayer. I would like prayer for my family. And what did they do? Whenever I asked for a prayer request, they said no. So now I have, they blocked me. I've been blocked from the church.
Elaine
Gerard. Elaine Elza, she was one of them. And these people are blocking us Oh yeah, Jared Fishback. Yeah, he's the one. I called him and asked him. He's the preacher. I called him and said, I would like prayer for my family. You know, we're being done wrong, and I'd like to speak with somebody about it. And he goes, oh, I've never heard any preachers say that they wouldn't talk to anybody. And matter of fact, I will set up a meeting between you and Bo Richardson, and we will come down and do it together. Just I'll do it. I'll set it up. Well, that never happened. They right after that conversation, we hung up the phone, and he blocked me on Facebook, blocked on my phone number, whatever else, and then criminally trespassed us from the church. So they are not willing to talk to us.
That's kind of off topic, but something that you said, and I think it's important to know. You said that you really didn't start
having a relationship
with God until after you started going to church. And I think that's so important these days, is that you don't have to go to church to have that relationship with God.
True.
Or to talk to God or pray or whatever you want to do, whatever you believe in, just believe in something.
Right.
I'm a Christian.
It's the same thing as whenever I said I didn't actually start learning the law until I stopped being a cop. That's when I started learning the law. It's when I started paying attention. That's when I started reading the books myself versus going to a church on a Sunday and listening to what the man on the stage is going to tell me what that book says. Well, I just started opening up and reading myself. It's the same thing with the law enforcement. I had to go sit in a classroom and listen to what they said, the book said, versus now I'm not a cop anymore and I got nothing but time on my hands. I can sit there and read the book myself.
That's great. That's interesting. You know what I tell people when we hire them? I said, I can guarantee you one thing. I'm never going to look at you and tell you got to arrest somebody. I won't do it. If I think somebody needs to be arrested and you're not okay or comfortable with doing it, then I'll do it.
Yep.
But I'm not going to tell you to do it. Right?
Good.
And if it's legal, moral, ethical, I'm going to do everything I can to back your decision when you decide to enforce that. Because here's the thing. You may work for this city or this county. I may approve your paycheck every 2 weeks. I may have been the one to hire you, but I did not give you the authority to make that decision. To me, in my point of view, it's that the state of Texas, the Constitution is giving you that authority to be a peace officer, not me. So I'm not going to tell you got to do something.
I think we should go back to no victim, no crime. You know, the Supreme Court's already ruled that no corpus delicti. If there's not corpus delicti, then the crime can't even exist. So, you know, when we talk about if somebody has been hurt or injured, because, you know, every word is defined. If we don't know what that word is, open up the law book and it's right there. Texas Government Code, actually it might not even be the government. It might be the government code, I'm not even really sure, 79.006. It is the definition of crime. It says that a crime exists if you've injured somebody or damaged somebody else's property. So a brake light being out, is that a crime? Mm-mm. No, it's not a crime. It doesn't even fall under the definition of crime.
But here's the thing, it makes money. Brother.
It makes money. There you go.
It makes money.
That's why they do it.
And people got to get paid.
Hey, so are they getting on the back end? Are these judges getting paid off? I mean, because I was ordered to go to what they call pre-trial probation-ish. It was like pre-trial release or something like that. So they literally ordered me pee in a cup, pay us $100 a month. Yeah. And I'm supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right?
You know, people do, and I think people have you know, when somebody asks things like that, I think people have good reason to think that sometimes. And you know, I can tell you that I personally have not witnessed that or been privy to that. I'm not going to sit here and say that doesn't happen, because it probably does. Because guess what?
It would have to. Why would they care so much?
Oh, you know what happens.
Evil exists in this world.
Maybe not all the time.
I can tell you what I do think is there's companies and that profit off of us putting people in jail or writing these tickets.
LaSalle.
NCIC.
LaSalle Corrections. Right. It's a privatized jail that does the exact same thing, where the sheriff is paying $150 a day per inmate per day versus $50 a day per inmate
our
per day.
Jail's
Who
empty.
gets the kickback there? And then also the hot check fund. DA's office gets a kickback. If you write a hot check, guess what? The penalty goes into the pocket of Jacob Putman. And then he gets what's called discretionary funds. He gets to choose however he wants to spend that money.
Discretionary funds.
So if he wants to buy you a birthday cake, he can buy you a birthday cake using the hot check funds that somebody else had to pay as a punishment for them committing their crime.
It's kind of like a seizure fund.
Yeah.
A seizure fund's not controlled. It's usually at the discretion of the chief law enforcement officer.
Isn't that crazy?
And if they write a hot check for rent, he won't prosecute those. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, that's a side note.
Look, guys, we got to wrap it up.
Hopefully we can come back.
This has been fun.
Yeah, this has been a great conversation. Very insightful. I truly, I said it earlier, I hope so many people get to listen to this because, especially in Smith County area, people who have kind of just seen KLTV or CBS, and we all know how that those news reportings have been one-sided. So I really hope that people get to sit down and listen to this conversation and understand exactly what's going on in Smith County and say, hey, this is a problem. I don't care if I go to church with this guy. I don't care, if my kid plays baseball with him. This is not okay. And guys, like he said, like Preston said earlier, I think very highly of you. Very courageous.
Likewise, right back at you.
Very courageous what y'all are doing. And I'm so thankful y'all decided to come on this show, and I've really enjoyed it. Cody, thank you. And it's just been real good. I'm very I'm very grateful. What are we laughing at? We're laughing at
because
every time I see him, I see him in the handcuffs. Bro, is that what you're seeing? That's what I'm seeing.
We went and talked to the lawyer today, and every time we watched the video out with the lawyer, and every time Cody's face got up on there, that we all just started laughing.
Because it's like, what? Who does that?
What is it?
Who leaves the
like the
guy
Three
in
Stooges or something, right? Like it's just something that's so far gone.
Who leaves the guy in handcuffs out in the middle of the street while I'm chasing another dude? Like,
Right.
what the heck?
They interfered with my traffic stop.
Lance, where can they find you on social media and the internet?
So the two that I'm pushing right now are Smith County Alliance, and that's just to grow our numbers, and so we stay in, because right now, like I told you, my face group, it's Lance F.E. Phillips is my account. You can find me. Well, no, you can't. I typed in stranger. I saw him at a restaurant the other night, and I said, "Hey, we agree. You like me. I like you. Put my name in there." Well. So I literally scrolled like 40 names of Lance Phillips, and Lance was not on there. So good luck finding me online.
Told you it's a thing on Facebook.
So what about Texas Police Audits on TikTok?
Yes, and then also Reawaken. It's a group on Facebook, the Smith County Alliance, and then Reawaken Tyler, Texas, Smith County.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And guys, remember failingjustice.org and at Failing One Justice for all social media platforms. Like us, share us, follow us. We thank every one of you for being a part of this organization. If you feel led to donate, failingjustice.org, you can do it there. And, man, what a show. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We will see you guys next time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's not just an organization, it's a call to action. Join us on this journey, satisfaction. Dismantle barriers, build with passion. For a future where justice is not a fraction. Yeah, failing justice. Yeah, failing justice. Yeah, failing justice.